coming in right now from the EC headquarters, confirmed across the country. We are talking about 54,354 for candidate Japan, representing some 36.72%. And we have, of course, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia at 91,919. That is 62.09%. And as we speak currently, the two of the aspirants we know have called him to congratulate him. They've conceded defeat. So, of course, as we said, he was going to win this. The key question is the margin. And we're going to be analyzing that for you pretty quickly. And then, of course, as you see, the last two, we've been calling it the last two, and of course, indeed pan out exactly as we've said. And that is Dr. Wusefri Akoto with a 1,135, 0.77%. Francis Dainimo, it's at 623, that is 0.42%. Now, we're waiting for us, one of the bellwether regions, Greater Accra is key. We're waiting for that. But of course, we just heard from the Ashanti region, which is very important. Let's run through the Ashanti regional numbers, and then we'll begin our analysis from there.
Had 11,390, representing some 33%. Dr. Bawumia had 22,205. That's some 65% of the votes. Dr. Wusefri Akoto had 167, and Francis Adainimo with 74 votes.
Okay, and so that's the results from the Ashanti region. We're waiting for the Greater Accra region, the two regions with the most delegates there, and so that's very, very important. Joining me in the studio, apart from wasting, is Raymond Akwa and Dr. H.C. Kanku. But guess who is sandwiched between them? It is the Chieftaincy Minister, Asamoah Boateng, who has agreed to join us. How are you feeling, sir, tonight?
I'm happy. We've had our election today, peaceful, and so far everything has gone according to the way the party is structured this to be. Quiet, peaceful, happy mood. I'm in a very happy mood. We seem to have a flag bearer.
Have a flag bearer, indeed.
Almost.
And that flag bearer will be adored pretty soon and will be adored at the Ohenejan Sports Stadium. And I want to take you there right now. I want to take you to my colleague, Samuel Imbura, who is there for us to give us a sense of what is happening on the ground and the mood there. And from what I saw before I came on, it is a pretty charged atmosphere. Imbura, confirm that.
You put me on, put me on. Joy here at the Ohenejan Sports Stadium. And then it is actually a charged atmosphere where the party supporters have thronged the Ohenejan Sports Stadium in patience, waiting for the baton of leadership to be handed over after the declaration of the results by the EC. So far, we understand, per the provisional results, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has made some errors, and he is the one kindly leading the race per what the provisional results has given us. So they are now waiting for the final declaration. But behind me is the stage where all the dignitaries, those who matter in the NPP, are coming to take their seats. In a minute, in some 30 minutes, we'll have Dr. Wusefri Akoto, who has already called Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to congratulate him, coming to join them. Kennedy Ajapon, I understand, is also on his way coming here. So it's actually a charged atmosphere here. As you can see, some of the supporters of the NPP massing up here at the Ohenejan Sports Stadium to catch a glimpse of what is happening ahead of the declaration. So this is one of the NPP members. Maybe I can just hear from him what he makes of the electoral results. You are live on Joy News. Can you tell us what you make of the electoral process so far?
Oh, it's so peaceful, and all what we are expecting, that's what we just have. So everything is okay.
Who was your candidate?
Who's that?
Who was your candidate?
Bawumia, of course.
Bawumia. Are you happy about the percentage so far?
200%. I'm okay. Yes. I'm okay, 200%.
So as supporters of the party, what do you think? What does this signal give to your political opponents ahead of 2024 elections?
Oh, you see, we are taking everything step by step. You understand? We are here now. The other, we don't have a new strategy. Everything will go on well. So don't worry about that one. Okay? Yeah.
Thank you very much. You are joining us on the Joy News channel. Which constituency do you belong to?
I'm from East Ayawaso.
East Ayawaso.
Yes.
What do you make of the electoral process? Did you cast your ballot? Are you a delegate?
Yes, I'm a delegate. I cast my vote.
Who did you vote for?
I vote for Dr. Wamiao.
Why did you vote for him?
I just vote for Bami. I know now this is time because we have it's a generation time. When I look at everybody was saying it's possible, I think it's his time. So it's a generation. So I just voted for him, and I know he can do something to the youth. That's why it's my candidate for him to vote for him.
The reason my cameraman cannot come down is because there's a media stance for all of them, and that's where he is and taking this shot. But let me find out from him. Good evening, sir. You are live on the Joy News channel. Kindly face my camera and tell me what you make of the electoral results so far as today's Congress is concerned.
There in the beginning, let me thank all the electorates across the country and also congratulate the flag bearer elect, His Excellency Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, and also congratulate the three others, that's Ken, Adainimo, and also Afiri. They've really done well, and that is the spirit of the New Patriotic Party.
The NPP prides itself with democracy and the belief in the rule of law.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have exhibited that today in the Congress?
Precisely, across the country, you can see it. The spirit of the New Patriotic Party is back again, and this is the time we're going to demonstrate to the whole world that we are ready to take on the campaign. And the campaign for 2024 starts today with the election of our new flag bearer. And then I'm so hopeful. We are all expecting all the candidates to be here tonight to show their support to the flag bearer elect. And I believe all Ghanaians are ready to support Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. I mean, it's fantastic, and we have really shown that we are the party to rule this country going into the future.
So where's your constituency?
I'm the government spokesperson on social services, and my constituency is Ayawaso North. That is where I supervise the election, and I pull 80% of the vote for His Excellency.
Thank you very much. Wish you all the best. My brother, good evening. Where are you coming from? Which constituency do you belong to? Did you cast your ballot?
Yeah, I'm coming from Ayawaso Central. I'm the constituency of the regional minister. And as an aide to the regional minister, we have to work to live, and then we were able to get the results that we are looking for. Because he's a regional minister, and so we're determined to go the extra mile to get the needed results for the party.
So the general feeling from the voters here is that the exercise has been smooth. The exercise has been conducted without any chaos, and they think that as a party that prides or associates itself with the rule of law and democratic governance, they have really exhibited such. So on the podium now, we have a host of the national executives there. Right now, Salam Mustafa, the national youth organizer, is the one addressing the mammoth crowd here at Ohinijan Sports Stadium. We also have the national organizer also there, Nana Boachi Iyadom, popularly known as Nana B. The general secretary, Justin Frimpong Kodia, is also seated, and they are waiting for a host of them. And I must say, security here is really an overdose, as indicated by the IGP, Dr. Akufu Dampare. Before you enter here, they have to conduct a thorough search on you to be sure you don't carry any weapon before you get in here. So, security-wise, they have deployed adequate men to man security, and where we have been so far, we have not witnessed any chaos where the police will have to come in. So the situation is not different from the Ohinijan Sports Stadium. What they are waiting for now is for the EC to do the official declaration, and then right here, they will have the conceding speeches from the aspirants who will not make it, and then we'll get a statement from the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, who will be handing over the baton as the leader of the party to the one who will be finally declared the winner of this Congress. We know that Dr. Fia Koto has already called to congratulate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, Kojo Poku, and other aspirants, Mr. Konedua Preku, and most of the aspirants who contested in the Super Delegates Congress have actually called to congratulate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. At the moment, he is at his residence preparing with his team to come here. At his campaign office at Reach, they've also mounted a giant screen monitoring and collecting the results. So the EC in the next 40 minutes is expected to declare the results, and then the official handing over will be done here. But we'll have speeches from all those who matter in the party before the handing over will be done. So at the moment, the speeches have not started. What we have is the National Youth Organizer coming to charge the atmosphere here. But my colleague Kweku Asante with the political desk is with me here. Kweku, over to you.
Well, it's an incredible sight and scenes here. It's almost like a carnival. Almost all those who matter in the New Patriotic Party are here. We are just awaiting the arrival of the 4 candidates in this election, as well as the president. Then this will happen. We are also expecting that very soon. The information we are getting from the strong group of the EC is that they've done a coalition for almost all the constituencies, and that in the coming hours, the Electoral Commission will formally declare Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the winner of this primaries of the New Patriotic Party. We expect that Dr. Bawumia will come here himself, Kennedy Japan, and all the other candidates who contested in this election. What the NPP want to do here is to show unity, is to show that despite the rancorous nature of the election, the New Patriotic Party has come together and they are ready to go into the 2024 election as a force. Already, Salah Mustafa has been harping on that. And so that is exactly what we expected to see here today. We are going to see President Akufo-Addo raise the hand of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. In the last 16 years, since 2007, the de facto and the jury leader of the NPP has been Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo. And for the first time in 16 years, we are going to have a change in that. We are going to see a new face lead the New Patriotic Party in the person of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. Of course,
that'll be the interesting bit, Kweku, because I know if Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is declared finally handed over the baton to lead the party ahead of 2024 election, then it will go to break that myth that the NPP is an account party.
Yeah.
And also the claims by the former president John Mahama, who is the leader of the NDC, that Bawumia will not be given the nod. You know, just his last rally, he said that he was going to give him a showdown, and then the delegates will prove him wrong. However, we know that some of the Council of Elders that I spoke to, they said they were fully in support of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and some national executives. I was at the national headquarters where the election was conducted. 463 came to cast their ballot. Out of these 463, Bawumia had 244, Kennedy Japan 133. Some people saw it as surprising.
Yes, in fact, if I look at the result that came from the headquarters, it was quite surprising. But going back to the early point that you made on, this is the New Patriotic Party really sending a message out there that the New Patriotic Party is not an account party as the NDC have made it to be. John Dramani Mahama had said that Dr. Bawumia will just be used by the NPP and they will not give him the opportunity to lead. But we've seen that Dr. Bawumia, per the results we are seeing, could get between 55% and 60%. It could even be more from the results we've seen so far. So that is a testament. And if you look at the results that came in from the northern regions, the 5 northern regions, it clearly showed that they had the intention to actually break that myth that has surrounded the New Patriotic Party for some time now. So they went there in their numbers. There are some constituencies where Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia gets all the votes. There's no other candidate that gets even a single vote. So that myth has been broken today. The New Patriotic Party, of course, is not an account-based party. We have a candidate in the person of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is not just only a non-account, but also a Muslim. So he's coming in as someone from the northern part of the country and also a Muslim. This will be the first time that a Northerner and a Muslim candidate, I should say, will be on a candidate as the presidential candidate of a political party in the country since 1992. So that's incredible.
To the NPP.
Definitely, and the New Patriotic Party is going to use that in the 2024 election to say that this is the political party that cuts across. This is the only political party that has handed Asante. We've had a Muslim vice president. They will say now they have a Muslim candidate at the top of the ticket, and that would be Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
The interesting bit I'm looking out for is the one who partner the eventual winner, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. He's the provisional winner now. We are waiting for the EC. But the interesting part will be the one who will help him secure that victory for them if they go into 2024 election. Now the dynamics play. You look at is it going to be from the eastern region, Ashanti region? Some people are pointing towards Ashanti region, obviously, because it is the World Bank of the electoral votes of the New Patriotic Party.
I think that it is clear that the New Patriotic Party is going to pick a candidate from the Ashanti region. Is either going to be one of Honorable Opoku Prempeh, the Energy Minister, the Education Minister, First Deputy Speaker. There are a number of NPP MPs who are on the list. Of course, Dr. Bawumia is keeping that card close to his chest. He's not specifically stating where he's going to put that. But I strongly believe that if you look at how the dynamics of the party is now, the New Patriotic Party will be better served if they have a representative, the vice presidential candidate coming in from the Ashanti region. And that is the kind of information we are getting.
So let's hand over back to the studio, and then we'll definitely take you to stage immediately they start delivering the speeches. So we'll hand it over back to you in the studio for you to continue the rest of the discussions, and then we'll cross back when the speeches and the dignitaries, those who matter for tonight's program, so far as this Congress of the NPP is concerned, begin to deliver their speeches. So Kojo, you can take it over from us from the Ohinijan Sports Stadium here in Accra. Solid.
And we are going to be staying with my colleagues there at the Ohinijan Sports Stadium, my colleague Elting and MFA Pao. Once we know the final results from the EC headquarters, we'll join them, because this is where the party will need to show to its rank and file across the country that they're united tonight, even after these results. Results that, of course, we've been talking about, that was very, very possible, but it has now become very obvious and is a reality now. The key question is, can they get Kennedy Japan to the stadium and give a concession speech whilst Bawumia is standing there, both of them finished, and then show to the rank and file that they are united going forward? We'll be getting some information from Sibina Samabatin pretty shortly on that. But very quickly, the northern region is now in.
Yes, Evans, and in the northern region, Kennedy Japan had 1,995. Dr. Bawumia, 9,238, and then Owusu Akoto, 172, and Francis Adenimo, 77. In the central region, Kennedy Japan, 10,828, Dr. Bawumia, 6,159, Dr. Owusu Akoto had 47, and Francis Adenimo, 38.
Okay, so both gentlemen won in your home region.
Exactly.
Okay, I mean, and that is important. We've been saying that from the beginning. But of course, the margin, 1,900 in the northern region for Kennedy Japan and 9,000 for Bawumia. So the gap is quite significant there. Central region, he wins it at 10,000, 6,000. 6,000, yeah. So let me come back to Sibina Samabatin right now. First question, if you look at where we are tonight with 245 of the constituencies out from the Electoral Commission, we're left with 275. But as we speak currently, it is the Greater Accra regional results that we are waiting now to come in, and then that will close it. Is this what you expected?
Evans, it's been an interesting day. Started off very bright day at the party headquarters. I went to vote there. The euphoria, the excitement was there. An interesting aspect, let me just go back before I come to my expectation, is that when I went for the super delegates vote that day, the police numbers outnumbered the party people. This time around when I went, it was the journalists who outnumbered everybody, and the police were not there. And immediately the signal was that this is a good sign. It's a family event, and everybody understands this is going to be smooth and peaceful. And across the country, we've heard everybody happy and the results. For me, the expectation was that Dr. Bawumia would get over 70%. To be frank with you, I was on record to say 75. But I'm also aware, and I speak to the Kennedy camp a lot, and also the Koto's people. I knew Dr. Koto was not coming up as I expected it, so it went to Kennedy. So I was always in constant touch. And I knew Kennedy would pull some votes. I wasn't too sure how many, but you get 30-something%, isn't it?
Yes,
35%. Very impressive.
As we speak.
But Kennedy is a politician. He's a down-to-earth politician. He understands where to press the buttons. His strategy worked in a way. He was in a difficult election for him. Here he is, the government that he has been part. Sometimes he takes himself out as if he's a board chairman of one of the key institutions of state. But I can understand his positioning of himself in this contest. So he was in a dilemma. Even if he wins, how's he going to sell the party's achievements? Yet he couldn't disown the party as well. So he was in a fix. But Bawumia was clear out and out. He had to defend the government. He had to defend his record. And so it's expected. I mean, I expected Dr. Bawumia to win. 61%, it's a respectable figure. And don't forget, Evans, this is his first attempt for the flag bearership position. First attempt. If you go back to our history of the party, I'm not sure anyone, first attempt has won. Dubois initially, I think he took it, but then Kufuor.
He won in 92 and Kufuor beat him in 96.
Yes, Kufuor came in, even if the first time Kufuor came third, if you remember. Then 98, Kufuor, 96, then Kufuor won, and then he went for the 90 election.
Kufuor was in second.
Kufuor didn't win. Kufuor had to go back. And that's the pattern. And for Dr. Bawumia, it's a very good attempt, and it's very good results for him. But don't forget, he carried himself very well. The first time I met him was in President Kufuor's house, and he just come into the country like me. I had also come to the country from UK. He was so sober, and I said, Mr. Papa, oh, he's a nice guy. He's coming to help us with the Bank of Ghana. He's a smart guy. And I kept an eye on him, saying, this is a star in the party.
I see.
He's a star in the party, because the party had always been the account-tagged party for a long time. And I admit, I mean, we all have our inside discussions, and we know that outside there's like, if you're not an account, you don't come in. Even when I stood an election in Infantiman, at some point the account was even dropped, and they said I was at Ashanti. I'm Ashanti by name, as I'm Wabwati. But my mom is a Fanti. And so I had to convince them that that's my mom, I go matrilineal. And so you see the differences inside. So we needed to have some way of bridging that kind of tag and getting together as a party that sheds away those tags. And we're lucky to have a candidate of his caliber, and he cuts across. When he came into the party as a running mate to Nana Akufo-Addo in the 2008 election, when he was elected, I think at Alisa, I was a council of National Council member. It was a tough decision. I mean, the party was just come in, relaxed. There are people ahead of him, but Akufo-Addo stuck with him. And it took a while, and he built his character through that. And against a lot of heavyweights in the party. And he's come along. His humility, his approach to people, he cuts across everybody. Youth, he's a young man, don't forget, he's a young man. And he reaches to some of us who have been in the party for donkeys. Don't forget, I've come a long way. And so I knew this is a star coming in. And he's conducted himself so well. And especially, if you look at even the government programs, and everywhere government has succeeded in touching like fundamental changes in our economy, his name comes across there. The digitization of most of our services, he's in there. Everywhere, Dr. Bawumia will be there. And so far, I haven't had any complaint about him. So we are lucky to have him around. But having said that, Kennedy is a crowd puller. Kennedy is a crowd puller. There's no election that I would say Kennedy doesn't come in. He will come in. We need Kennedy in an election. He sits on the platform. He just get the crowd.
As we analyze tonight will be, so what do you do with Ken now? Now, with all the votes he's got, what do you do with him? Raymond, I'm staying with you on the question of the expectation.
Yes.
He's confessed. He was expecting 75%. So this clearly isn't what he was expecting.
Clearly. But he was not alone. We all know that, I mean, as if it was a refrain or some data had been shared around to be... Samuel Oku said it. A lot of the people who campaigned for Dr. Bawumia said, in fact, they even said at least 70%. The clarity, remember, it was our conversation over the Global Info Analytics data That's where Sami said he would dismiss it immediately because it doesn't put Dr. Bawumia within the 70s. And anything below 70, in fact, he was even pushing up to 80. And some said, well, it's a done deal, but the percentage will show what's important here. Two things would happen. Our expectation was that he was going to put up a fight. And we mentioned that if you have gleaned the polls, they were suggesting Dr. Bawumia's figures were still rising in the north, but not in the south of the country, which was a bit problematic because the higher numbers were in the south. So you do not need to win so many regions to actually make the inroads that Ken is making. If you, of course, the regions don't matter in this election, unless for analysis, because it's a unitary state, so it doesn't matter. But if you break it down, Ken is, as we know now, winning like 2 or 3 regions, Central, Volta, then maybe another one if he adds up to it. You think about it, he's making over 30% with just 2 regions and getting some of the lowest figures in the north of the country. But those figures don't matter because of the numbers involved here. And that's something that he was hoping to ride on. And he was also successful in doing something, pitching candidates who were for, as in parliamentary candidates and parliamentary MPs, who were for, what they call Dr. Bawumia, against the ordinary people. Regional chairman, constituency chairman. He made it so clear that they were not for their interest, that they were taking big money and the people on the ground were not getting anything. So you needed to make your voice heard differently. So you could see some of the reaction on the ground reflecting that kind of opinion. Ultimately, if he doesn't get the impression that still an establishment candidate was favored over me, then he'll play ball. But of course, people know him to also be a businessman. And the thing with businessmen in politics is that ultimately, he will do the +1 -2, and it comes down to, well, what will be my interest in going forward? Already, I've heard people within the NPP saying that he just bumped up to number 2 on the list of a possible future for the NPP. That you can no longer dismiss or see Kennedy Japan, who in less than 1 year, and let's not get it wrong,
and you make a very important point.
In less than 1 year, has made so much inroads that people have done God knows how long, since 2008, they have not been able to do similar action on the ground. He appears to have gotten a certain support, grassroots, for a political party that is seen to be elitist in nature. It is one of the reasons they can never ignore him today, because you would need him to still get to the grounds. There's a conversation happening within the NPP today about whether or not Dr. Bawumia is identified with by the ordinary person, even within the party. And if we remove all the other hangers on the support, would he still be able to make the kind of inroads that Kennedy Japan did in this case? So that is how important the man has moved from a financier, somebody who was saying things nobody liked in this country, somebody who was condemned by virtually everybody, right from international institutions and all of that, to now one of the most important people within the NPP.
And you can't
I've even heard the conversation that all of the 16 or so Asante potential vice presidential candidates do not have anything close to what he has in the party.
And you cannot ignore him now. You make the point about he's placed second. What does it mean for him going forward? The party's history shows in primaries, those who place second tend to rise to the top. It's the reason why.
I'll make a claim.
Make a claim for it. And I was going to make the claim bit because you have Alan Chamanting, who had placed second over the period, believing and ran with the slogan, "It drew missile." Because he believed at the point that it was his time, right? And then you have Ken, who is now placed second. Of course, there are more races coming up in the next few years.
Yes.
In 1998, when they did the primary, the current president was second. Eventually, he came forward and believed that, of course, it was his turn. And we were told that in the party, they have these arrangements that you eventually get to a place where you rise to the top. What will be Ken's thinking around that going forward? Would he get to a place where he believes, and I want to bring in here, Echesi Kanku, that because of what he secured now, looking at the party's history over time, he is next in line possibly. He has a right to lead the party going into post-2024, for example. The party will have to manage that.
Yeah, thank you very much, Evans. I don't even know whether to take your second question or the first one about expectations, but I still want to stab on that. I think...
No, go for the expectation, because it's still within that realm.
I think we're overstating everything over here. Listen, Kennedy Japan has been a mainstay of the political trajectory of this country for a long time. I don't have the exact year, but he's been an MP, and Honorable is here.
20 years.
Many years?
Since 2000.
20 years.
Since 2000.
2 decades. That is not a short time in politics. And in order to build your constituency as a politician or somebody who wants to aspire for the presidency, getting your hold on a parliamentary constituency is very important. In fact, some have stated that one of the reasons why Alan Shermanting has not done as well in the presidentials or in his political career is because he does not have a constituency he can call his own. And I heard an elder within the party saying that he advised him that go stand for parliament and get that political experience. Honorable Kennedy has been there. He has the political experience. He has the political capital. So let's not overstate what has happened today. Yes, it is an impressive showing based on the expectations game, and politics sometimes has an internal forced expectation games that are played, that is being played. I've heard all those things, and so that is influencing what we are saying. But then when you strip it off, those games of expectations, and you look at the bare essentials, you look at the existing context within which this has happened, my goodness, it is watershed, it is momentous, and I think we are losing that. This is a party which since its formation it started participating in political elections in 1992, has had an Akan-oriented leader ever since, or even just an Akan leader ever since it was formed. It became so difficult for anybody outside that Akan region to pierce their way and to best that veneer glass to get into the top, to become the political candidate. In fact, it became the clarion cry of a lot of people that, hey, no way a Northerner is going to be, they are ethnocentric, they are tribalistic, very huge argument. For the first time, we do have a Northerner becoming the leader of a major political party in this country, the scion of the Dombo tradition, the former Baumia tradition. I mean, Aliyu Mahama, that memory has all come into play right now, and Baumia has carried that fire and become the first northern leader of the party and the first Muslim leader of the party in a Christian-dominated country, and going at it for the first time and not even been plucked from the hallowed halls of Bank of Ghana as a professional, an economic professional, and then this first step as VP. He has done it. This is a historical moment, and we shouldn't let the expectations game cloud or help let us recognize the importance of what has happened today, not just for the New Patriotic Party, but for our democracy in Ghana. A lot of people will look at this and say that me too can become presidential candidate one day, irrespective of my tribe, irrespective of my religion, irrespective of if I don't even belong to a long history of politics, and it will be an inspiring moment. So for me, that is my first point in terms of is this what I expected, is this what I didn't expect? I think that what has happened is momentum for what it is, and we should recognize it for what it is. Honorable Ken has done great from the context too. I mean, his pronouncements, his rhetoric, and where he's come from. I mean, nobody expected him to get here. He even said himself that he does not, I don't want to be president. He said it sometime. He never thought.
As you said in the morning, no dia grown fire.
Thank you. He never thought he was getting here. So it's impressive. It's impressive. And he has carried a certain voice within the NPP. Let's not lose sight of that as well. People have done the whole Donald Trump comparison. Very fair one. Because the rise of populism, if you put this in a global context, the rise of populism across global democracies. In Brazil, Lula da Silva was back. In Pakistan, they elected a former cricket player who eventually became PM. You go to the United States, Donald Trump became president. You look at France, and there's Emmanuel Macron, who didn't even have a political machinery. He had to form one from the scratch to become president. So the rise of populism and the voices of the grassroots is a very important feature of democracy today, right now. They want to show the establishment that our voices count. And Kennedy carried those voices within the party. People who were tired of lawyers, tired of economists, and just wanted a very practical-oriented person to lead them. He represents that voice. And looking at the short time with which he started the technical campaign, hey, kudos to him.
I guess the point that makes the expectation around Kennedy Dupont such a significant one is that everybody expected Baumia to win anyway. I mean, it wasn't in doubt from the beginning that he was going to win this. The question was the margin, right? So the issues that you raise, very, very fair, that this is the first time in a long, long time that a party is beginning to show real evidence that they can transform from this entrenched party to one that also allows people like Dr. Bawumia into the fold to lead it. So that is very significant, except that we all expected that to be the outcome today, and this is the outcome. Except that when you look at the Kennedy Agyapong's performance, then it raises his own profile in the party. It becomes an individual that you can no longer ignore. In fact, Bawumia was hoping, and history shows it, with Nana Addo Dankwa himself, to give the party a certain resounding victory, to leave no doubt that this is my party, right? And that would have been great for him. And then, of course, the Kennedy Agyapong factor would have faded a bit. And then he can focus on 2024. But now you have Kennedy Agyapong performing the way he did. And then that definitely throws in a bit of a challenge now in terms of what do you do with him? Because now you can't ignore him anymore, right? So that's why I guess that has become such a big deal. Yes, I'll come back to you for your own thoughts on this.
Yeah, but sorry, no one wished Kennedy away. Kennedy has always been in the party.
That's
at the center of it. Always at the center of it. He's a crowd puller, I mentioned. We never ignore Ken when we are in any rally. Even if he comes in late, you have a slot. I'm telling you. So and there was this impression or this allegation of establishment candidate but it's not true. I'm telling you, because he was a vice president, people thought, we all go in there. Nobody has pulled me and told me we're going here. No, before. I told you about this account tag. Me personally, I said that even my own contested in Fancy Man, even the account group, within the account group, I was labeled as an Ashanti. And I said, no, I'm from here. So we had to break it up.
But I said not defeat the NEC. So, I mean, it's so old, but even for you made the point. People presume that merely because, let's say, my father is from Mankesim and my mother is from Jaben, there is some unity among some account group anywhere. You know it's not true.
Not.
So this presumption that there is a certain account grouping working together, protecting its own, projecting a certain front is a mirage. And it's been proven. Let me read to you what this guy wrote in AKD Frimpo way back. This is in the 90s. He said the weird mix of ethnicity with regionalism has allowed elements in NPP and NDC to equivocate to suit their purposes. For instance, an individual to be considered an Akan or an Asante or a Fanti under varying scenarios. Similarly, the expression Northerners is often used as if the people in the Northern, Upper East, Upper West are one people. But we all know that some of them are not even intelligible in the languages that the others have. So the presumption and the blockades issues political divide for good. But it cannot be pirated and be used as defense in some of these cases. I hope you get my point.
No, but the fact of the matter is that the evidence, as far as the flag bearers over the historical trajectory,
has been accounted.
Yes, that's what the party has been. Yes, that's the point.
The party has been. Yes. I mean, and the point you made cannot be overemphasized. The fact that that is what really defines this as a very important moment for the party.
Right.
That you have this confirmed now.
Yes.
That the Dankwa, Buzia, now Dombo. Yeah. And they were expecting that this to happen. Remember when James Sambusu got into trouble by making the point that the party needs to make that shift and give Bawumia. The party today has said, we believe indeed we need to move beyond that account tag.
That's a major point.
It's also interesting the reference is made to Dombo and not Mumuni Bawumia.
That's a time. But the point is that the party...
Mumuni Bawumia left and joined the CPP.
Yeah, but you see this...
So that's why the reference cannot be made.
Let me come in here, please. I know the political history for a while.
It's both.
Let's move. The party has never said that we are a Dankwa, Busia. It's a tag we've taken as normal. But the party is a principal party on freedom of expression, the liberty of the individual, and democracy. And so if you believe in that, wherever you come from, we don't mind. But the question was that we have been tagged with the Asante Akan too much.
Exactly.
And we thought, no, this party is a principal party. Got nothing to do where you're coming from. So unfortunately, because we've picked them as our running mates, everybody thought, they are second fiddle. They are not. So let's break this thing. And I said, look, it's a time that we've got this star in this party. Let's project it gets the general public to know that this party doesn't matter where you come from, doesn't matter the principle holds, that you perform well, and Bawumia has stopped, it's performed well. No, it's not got nothing to do with the origin at all.
He's earned this.
No, he's earned it.
Let me make a point.
Earned it. And then come back and then end on Kennedy. As I said, Kennedy is my brother. He comes to my house to eat. I talk to his campaign team almost every week. Even today I talked to them, and I told you he's going to the Ohinijan Stadium. I mean, Evans, you and I were talking.
Yes. So we'll come to that because that's important.
But the point is that Kennedy has always been in there, but we've never ignored him. And I'm happy his performance. It shows that this party is not one way that establishment say we go here, we go here. We built, Kennedy is coming as he's always been. Now he's got votes behind him, not just an MP at the level of presidential Kennedy. Now you have a seat already there, but your seat has been enhanced. Now come back. Let's get this together and move.
Look, Evans, this is my disagreement with the Asabi. The establishment is just what you have said. The establishment is what you, all of you, decide that now, let us go this way. Look, irrespective of the star you talk about, one of the things that has really worked for Dr. Bawumia is where he comes from. And it is because the NPP, having fallen for the NDC propaganda, decided that now is the time to actually select a candidate from the north. And you would agree, all of you when you meet, a lot of the NPP MPs and ministers when they meet, the discussion is that Afiwede Yamfa North Nankwa Ebe Hadrinu. So Afiwede Yamfa North Nankwa Ebe Hadrinu. So sometimes, for instance, 1 minute, when you say censorship, when you say censorship,
NDC propaganda. It's my own example.
I would explain why I say it's an NDC propaganda. Because when I say you're falling for the NDC propaganda, because consistently, you within the NPP would not remind yourself that we're an account party if somebody doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
Because it is the NDC that consistently said the NPP was an account party. And look, I grew up in the Volta region, and so I know this for a fact. Whenever the NDCs come to campaign in the Volta, they've made that point. You know this, HSC Kanku. They've made that point that NPP is an account party. So they had, so maybe, I mean, yes. And so consistently, that thing had been sung. And the NPP, at the point in time, started falling for it. In fact, in 2012, when Mahama was going to campaign in the north, he said, I sympathize with our brother Mahmudu because they will use him and dump him. If they want your votes, they should bring Mahmudu not as running mate, but as flag bearer. In 2023, when I spoke to a lot of NPP ministers and MPs, and they all say one thing. As for this time, we are going to take Bawumia, also because of where he comes from. Whether he wins or loses, we have done that. Whether he wins 2024 or loses 2024, they've taken him there. So for me, that's the most important thing. But you made a point about Kennedy Japan, placing second and, look at it this way. In all the times that people who have placed second and have emerged and have become flag bearer, when Eduboahene won, he was older than J.A. Kufuor. Okay? When Kufuor won, he was older than, even Alan Akufo-Addo. When Akufo-Addo won, he was older than Chairman, but Alan Chairman did not automatically become the successor. And the point I want to make is that in politics, people emerge at different times. Look, somebody could be there waiting for his time, and then you have an emergence of somebody out of the blue. Because who would have imagined that, Dr. Bawumia in 2008, by 2011, the party, people were springing up, positioning themselves to become running mates, including even Adamu Sakande at the time, wanting to become running mate to Akufo-Addo. Then, by 2013, you got the feeling that the NPP was preparing Dr. Bawumia, and many people identified him as the next person. And so,
Dr. Bawumia versus Hajia.
Yes.
Hajia Ali Mama.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is
the point that everybody felt that Akufo-Addo's best bet was.
Well, it's not. It wasn't like that. Yeah. Honorable Malik Al-Hassan came in.
Yes.
It was an array of so don't know.
But his choice was Hajia Ali.
But he chose Hajia Ali.
And by the way,
he chose Hajia Ali Mama.
And by the way,
he came with a list and Hajia came in.
I want to close on this and then I get off because we have to go to the EC headquarters and bring in MFR Powell. I mean, don't we run the risk of overemphasizing this Akan northern divide and attributing his emergence necessarily to that when he's actually earned this, and that his current election as the as a leader of course, going into the next year's election is fundamental because of the sacrifices he's made.
And that's what I said.
And then among the field, he was the best. And this is the man who, after 2024, when he really emerged, people forget the kind of Bawumia we had in 2008. The man who people doubted his political news and whether he could actually do it and take on this very, very divided country and be a politician and stand in his own right. And then he emerged after 2008, going into the 2012 elections as a formidable force. And he really came for me, he made the point for me when he went into the election petition.
In the box.
In the box. That is when, for me, Bawumia came out of his shell. In fact, Akufo-Addo owes his victory largely in 2016 to Bawumia's ability to become the shield. He took the blows. The NDC forgot that the person on the ballot was actually Nana Addo.
Yeah.
And they started fighting him. Remember his lectures. My point is, this is just the NPP. This is just the NPP rewarding sacrifice, rewarding competence, rewarding an ability to show. And again, when the government was in crisis, right? When we did a state of play, remember, and we said Bawumia must come out and speak.
Yes.
He did that. Everybody else was running away. Nobody wanted to face this problem. What are you going to say to the people? And then he held an event, I think in the central region, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Gomafete.
And took on the issues. Even though we criticized him, even though he treated for all the wrong reasons, he put his face on it when everybody else didn't want to do it. So aren't we running the race where we say, oh, it's Domo and the party has given him the nod because of yours, they wanted to break this account. I get a point. But which of these two is the most predominant reason why Bawumia is there today?
The predominant reason is that he's there on his own merit.
I believe that's the case.
And you see, yes, we had always discussed this account tax already.
Yeah.
And I've said it, we discussed it. But this time round, Bawumia has actually emerged within the political, economic center of the government and in the party and in the country. That he is his own person, he can run the show by himself. And every good thing the government has done, his name is stamped on it. We are talking about somebody who has made a government look the way it should be run properly. It's the vice president. If you look at it, President Akufo-Addo owes a lot to Bawumia's putting his face up.
Yeah, I mean, especially in 2016.
When people were just running away sometimes. I mean, people were just, are you sure you're going for this? And Bawumia stood up. And he does that with some humility, and a lot of honesty. That you see that this man is genuine. He's somebody we can trust. And that is what's paid up. Yeah. He had his reward. So it's not something that we can use that account tag. It's there, but it's a combination of factors.
It's a predominant factor.
I tell you one thing. Nobody.
Forgive me, the final results are in now. Okay. Final results are in. The Greater Accra results are in, and we're waiting for that because that then will give us a sense of the national picture. And as you can see there on your screen, and Kennedy Pond, this is the Greater Kennedy Pond, has 17,282 votes in Greater Accra. Bawumia had 19,002. Yeah. 19,002 votes. Efri Akoto had one. Yes. You have 155 for Efri Akoto, and then you have Adai Nemo's 95. How much are you reading to this? The Greater Accra results.
Well, I mean, 17,000, 19,000.
Is it 1919?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 17,000 and 19,000.
2,000 difference.
Yes. 2,000 difference. Interesting. I mean, and you see, when we started, I mean, before Honorable Asamoah, I had done the analysis and I'd shown you that in a lot of the areas, if you're able to get, say, 20,000, 25,000, it'll be good news for the Bawumia team. While they may not have hit the 20,000s in the Greater Accra region, as they did in the Ashanti region, I think the Kennedy Japan performance in the Greater Accra region, for me, is surprising to me. Mm-hmm. He really performed well in the Greater Accra region. Because look, this is a region that has a lot of the ministers here. I mean, of course, even though they come from different parts of the country, you've had, the Eslo Usu-Ekufu, you've had the Foreign Affairs Minister, all of them declaring their support for Dr. Bawumia. So you would expect that in the Greater Accra region, he would give you the kind of performance he's probably giving you in the Ashanti region and even in parts of the northern region where he's coming from. But if Kennedy Japan is able to pull 17,000 votes in the Greater Accra region. I say that in this election, because of the targets that the Bamia team set for themselves, because of the targets they set for themselves, it is the reason we're having this conversation today, and it's the reason you want to say congratulations to Ken Ejapong, who, as Raymond has said, is emerged victorious out of this. He's not the winner, he's not going to be the flag bearer, but his performance is worth commending.
Comment on give me your reaction to the Greater Accra results. Again, this is not what you expected, I assume. From the look on your face. This is, I see surprise.
I am surprised a bit, but I'm also not surprised because this party, you can never predict us. It's a party of people who believe in themselves. It's not controlled by one person or a group of people. And so when Alan left the scene, the momentum swung to Kennedy. It swung to him immediately. And I always said to people that it could be very tight. But then coming along yesterday, I had a sense that he would go over 75. But when I finished voting and I called the country, what we call the exit polls, as to how people were voting, because I somehow didn't disclose where I voted, although I gave an indication. But then when I had the exit poll, I was thought this is going to be close. Because then you could see the gap was closing. And I thought, Ken has done well. But the winner, as I said, is both the party. The party has won. Ken has done well, but Umia first time has pulled us and won the flag bearership against the odds of an contact, and also people were not sure, first timer. So for me, the party has done well, and congratulations to all of us. It is time to get together. It is time for Ken, who has always been the center, to come and have a bigger stake at the party, at the table. And then we can say, okay, let's move together. And that is good news for me as a party person, that going forward, we go united. And the NDC should be careful because we're there to beat them.
No, it's not interesting, right? Let's break it down. There are areas that you could identify specifically upon people who really are grassroots people. For example, in the Adenta area, we know that the presiding member, and many people knew him very well in that constituency, was the coordinator for Kennedy Japan. There are a lot of people who also felt that, listen, the man, I owe him a favor. He's done a lot of things to so many people, including my very self, in this region. And that if we as party people had gone to him every morning, there's no way he would disappoint us. And on so many occasions, he had delivered to us things that government people could not do to us. So what else was required of us to show some loyalty to him? So the grouping are clear. If you see specifically the constituencies that he won, you see the people who were behind it.
The impact is made on the ground. Yes,
the impact is very clear, and he could listen.
It's a down-to-earth person.
Yesterday, I was doing some of the listing for you. The things that the man says, okay, no, we are not talking about who has done what, but I can tell you from constituency to constituency, not only to the members of parliament, to their campaign in the previous election, but what I have done in each one of them. And even challenged the vice president to also state the same thing. That how many of them have you bought? In fact, the last one he listed was that when there was problems with power crisis in 2015 or 2016, I am the one who bought for the Tamale Teaching Hospital a generator. Where was the vice president and all the people claiming that they own or they are actually supposed to originally be owners of the northern region? And that they're supposed to have some loyalty to them. Where were they when I was doing those things? He listed them to make the claim that I have done a lot more than them, even with the power that they have at their disposal. And that is the kind of campaign that got a lot more people. And see, these campaigns do not affect ministers. It actually affects people at the grassroots because they are the ones who become beneficiaries of it.
But you see, and I know Ken, as I said, I know Baumia, but Ken's support that he offers also is a result of what he benefited from the party and the government. I'm telling you today. So Ken is not like an isolated human being sitting somewhere who's made his money from private.
More recently, this claim.
But the party,
but it's not the only beneficiary of government.
Let me bring in
Mostly he did. So it is expected. I mean, I also have a party, but I don't come out trumpeting. I'm not a businessman, so I don't give as much as he does. But I do also support.
So let me bring Dr. Sikanku in at this point, because Honorable Asamawati makes the point that when Alan left, and look at the constituencies that Ken Ejapong wins in the Greater Accra region. Adenta. Does it ring a bell? Medina. Does it ring a bell? He wins in Dom Kwabenya.
Vacuum.
What do you get from there? If you go to Okaikwe Central, he does very well.
And even the areas he puts out very spirited fight.
I mean, talking about the Greater Accra region. Does it actually tell you that the exit of Alan Tremanting may have helped Kennedy Japan to put up that kind of performance in the Greater Accra region in other parts of the country?
Right. I mean, you definitely cannot take away the fact that Alan led the party, and so all the people who were still not willing to vote for an establishment candidate had no choice than to vote for.
There was nothing like an establishment
for Kennedy Japan. I mean, the fact of the matter is that the vice president is the incumbent vice president. So, I mean, he has the benefit of the party. I mean, has been part of the current government, and that makes him establishment. I mean, that's established. So Alan leaving the party, definitely for people who were not willing for somebody who was part of the government to continue in such a high position like the vice president, all those people would have put their weight behind Kennedy.
I won't say all. I mean,
most
there
of
are no
them.
absolutes in politics.
Most of them would have put their weight behind them, because you see, the thing about this thing is that after 8 years, a lot of people really get tired of a government, and there is incumbency fatigue. We are not saying it's impossible.
But these are delegates of the party.
No, I'm trickling it down.
Okay.
So the delegates look at what is happening, and they know that if we're going to be able to break the 8, it's going to be a very tough argument to make if we are going with somebody who is that much associated with the incumbent government. And so for those who think that way, they are looking for the next person who is not as much an embodiment of the incumbent, and then Kennedy
this is where the difference will come
into that role.
Well, I don't stop you there, but you see, this tag of two-term, it's because people have accepted it. But this time round, the difference is that there's a government which has done well above what everybody expects. Except that people are not seeing it. But if you take the figures one by one, but
that's okay. That argument
and we'll come to
that. But not yet.
We'll come to that.
We want to analyze the results. No, we'll come to that. Once the declaration is done and we are looking forward,
but let me
look at the performance of the
government. So he may have benefited from that. But let's also not forget that at the base of it, Greater Accra is a bellwether state, it's a swing constituency. I mean, the middle class, it has just too many dynamics. A lot of people moving in from other places to come and settle here. Look at the makeup of a constituency like Medina, the thing between the coastal constituencies in Greater Accra and those which are really not the new ones. That just too many dynamics. And so Greater Accra, we all know, is the capital of the country. And so the complexity of the demographic characteristic of the Greater Accra region is so difficult to predict. And so, I mean, that also may have played. I mean, if you were going into this election, if you asked me which regions were going to be some of the most tightest or very difficult to predict, I'm sure I'm going to say Greater Accra. But, I mean, let's also not take that from Kennedy. I mean, for him to do that, I think it's a signal also to the government that it's going to be even tighter getting into the general election.
And another point that we analyze, which we need to bring back about when we're analyzing how he gets his votes, the sheer numbers we began to see in the polls, both the Global Info Analytics poll and the other poll, the social
CSADI
poll, started picking up delegates who would not disclose, but were also undecided. And we're making the point when we put it together that if you look at it really,
predominantly,
these were people who don't want to publicly identify with Kennedy Japan, but silently they want to vote for him. And I had isolated what happened in the party's headquarters in the super delegates elections, where he got 32 votes from people that you think, of course, are the elites of the party, who will not publicly say, I endorse him, but silently, quietly would go to vote for him. So this silent force had come out to vote for him, as we were analyzing. But that is where the danger is. What it means is, if you project this to the bigger population of voters, right, they're telling you, possibly, and this is the party's own internal folk, they're telling you possibly that we are tired of
the establishment.
And this is the confirmation of this 8-year cycle thing that we are seeing, even within their own party. Right, that is a big fear.
I want the argument to come through. So
no, I know you will go to the government bit, but we are analyzing the outcome. Right, How much should we read into that, in what he's managed to get from those people who don't want to identify with him publicly? They will endorse him because they will be seen as, why are you endorsing this man? But silently, they're going to vote for him. Going into the next year's elections, now he is the party's flag bearer. What signal does it send to the bigger picture when it comes down to voting next year, when a bigger population will be voting also? But of course, he's going to come up against John Mahama, who also has a record.
We'll talk about that, but you see, this is the point. Now, the NPP today, and you've seen it, but before that, I want to say something briefly, that the NPP today, and I'm sure the NPP by 1996 had realized that that tag of an elitist party should be shelved. Okay?
Yeah.
So the tag of an elitist party is gone.
Because nobody wins elections with that tag.
It's not there anymore. So
the whole
thing about it is not. Go and check. I mean, and you've seen it. So let's put that one aside. Now, this sends you a very clear signal. Because if we were to tag the votes Ken got as a protest against the establishment, then that is huge.
Mm-hmm.
If 37% of your voters are unhappy with you, that is huge. But of course, that is the problem the NPP faces today. You can argue all you want against it, but the reality is that if you go down to the people, the grassroots, as they call them, the president is one of the most unpopular people within his own party. That's a fact. Go down there today. And I think that Dr. Bawumia may have carried some of the baggage of Nana Akufo-Addo. And so now that he is flag bearer, he has to now show the people that this is who I am. This is me.
You need to create a distance between himself and Nana somewhat.
Let me finish. Yes. As difficult as it is, the reality on the ground today is that the Ghanaians, and Dr. Bawumia is known to have said one thing that I agree with him. When the NPP was campaigning in 2000, they said, Shewa sitting him, not to Aba. Look at your conditions. You can make all the excuses you want to make, but when I check my situation, I will look at it and say, I am worse off, and that's how I'm going to judge you. He said, no matter how much you talk, the economy is what you feel.
But I have a question, though. But, so for delegates, what were they protesting against?
No, this is the whole argument.
But so what were they protesting? Can we try and address that?
Let me answer that. Let me answer that before you go. Let me answer that
quickly, yeah, because all of you need that question. What were they protesting against?
The delegates were protesting against neglect by the party.
Yeah.
The delegates were protesting against that. And you see, it is what actually worked for Ken Japan. Yeah. When he started going around and saying that they have gone for 100,000, 150,000, and they are bringing you 2,000. On today, we saw that they were sharing 400. But Kennedy Japan had told all of us that
Bawumia... You also shared. I mean,
hold on,
the secret audio. Yes.
350. But he had told all of us that Bawumia has sent 2,000 to the delegates. We're going to pay them 2,000. So Ken had been able to convince the people that you are worse off because others are eating and they are not minding you.
Yeah.
And so show them that you're against that by voting against them.
Is that true? Is that true?
Ken has been made by the party and government of the NPP. Kennedy Japan is not the businessman of the Kwesi Chumis and the Kwame Despites, and he's been made because of the NPP government and the party. And he acknowledges that openly. So don't let us take him as if he's not part of us. He is. And he's never a board member of the Ghana Gas. He's a board member. So he's a government executive.
Board chairman.
A board chairman. He's executive of the government. He's an executive of the country. But he tends not to play that.
Yeah.
And he tends to quieten that and then project is against us. He's not against us. And he's everywhere Ken's business interests is. Nobody attacks it. But the point I'm making...
But he has said the opposite of that. You remember the Coast-Talk engagement?
He loses
remember, he openly comes out to say that he's been attacked by GRA and virtually...
He loses some to contracts.
Yes.
But that's the general public. Why should we give it to one person? But the point I'm making is that Ken has been one of us, and he's always been one of us. The fact that he's got a vote doesn't mean he's against us, and people wanted him to vote for him to show that they are against us. Look, NPP is a solid team. We are faced with an NDC ahead of us. Who can beat them better? And so they looked at Bawumia's character, his humility, his honesty, his name stamped on almost every good thing the government has done. the economy, when you're talking about the economy, it's not as bad as we think.
Yeah.
3 years ago, we were not talking to each other. I couldn't come to the studio. We're not moving.
But because of delegates.
People have forgotten. And if you look at the figures, I'm coming back to the figures.
Yeah, the figures.
Before 2000 election, the economy was performing better. GDP was 6 point something.
No, but the reason why the reason I want us to wait before we do the national implications is because we are talking about delegates. That's why I asked the question.
But
who are they protesting against?
The people. Delegates always listen to the neglect.
Are you
neglect?
Yeah, but when you bring in the national economy, etc., are you saying the delegates, the NPP delegates, were also thinking about the economy in deciding in voting?
They do. I mean, I need them.
But if that's the case, it's a very serious point you're making. Now the NPP delegate goes into the booth. And it's also looking at the way the government had handled the economy in deciding whether to protest against Bawumia in giving the votes.
They never voted against Bawumia. Bawumia has won the thing.
No, he's won. I'm talking about the votes that Ken got.
Forget about what Ken has got. Ken has always been an established person. He's been in the party. He's not somebody who has just been thrown in. So don't take that. And he's always benefited from the party.
Yeah, but Honorable, what he's trying to say is that the delegates are also thinking about the fortunes of their own political party.
I can tell you some of the delegates
so by doing that,
I mean,
yes.
Why?
Thank you.
Why?
Because look, we are a two-term government. Somebody thinks that he has never benefited from us. Okay. Somebody thinking that once you are in government, I must also benefit. But you have to project yourself. You have to also perform. You have to also catch the eye of the appointed. Not only that, you can also benefit from the country's general economic improvement.
How dominant is that factor?
It is there, and I know the grassroots are not happy with the top. And now I know that for a fact. And we're talking to them. But the question is, you are here, the NDC is there. Do you want to fight amongst yourself and lose an election with an NDC, whom we are better than managing this economy than them? So you see Mahama, you want Mahama to come in. When they are faced with that, then they look at the quality that we are bringing in Bawumia. They look at the quality of his performance. They look at the NDC fear him. Why do they attack him? And he yourself admitted. When even the Kufuor is the president, they go for Bawumia. So we have a very solid leader that can go and beat the NDC for us. So yes, the party may grassroots, some of them may not be happy, but faced with the NDC, we'll come together.
Okay,
we'll come together.
And I compare him to Donald Trump. Donald Trump had always stated that he supported what they call it, the pro-gay movement. But when he was contesting an election, he made it quite clear that that movement is not something he wanted to be identified with. So many of the things Kenneth Japan did today were marked difference from what he used to be in times past. Let's get it clear. Kenneth Japan sat on radio just a couple of weeks ago and said invading a radio studio is a terrible thing. No party member should ever engage in the act. But we know that this is a member of parliament who had actually called for journalists to be beaten. Mm-hmm. So he switched and he used the campaigning properly. But ultimately, he positioned himself as somebody who was with the ordinary person.
That's why he had a difficult campaign to run.
Understood them better, and that the elites in the NPP were not in their interest. He proceeded even to say on some platforms, and it was quite interesting, that, see, this party has to go back to a certain stage where the people at the grassroots determine the future of the party, not a few people. A few people who just all of a sudden got into positions and have forgotten about you. They don't pick up your cause. When you come to me at Medina, I make time to see you. I make time to solve your problems. And he keeps on listing the things that he has done consistently into the minds of the people. Kenneth Japan took on the economy of the Republic of Ghana, showing how some of his businesses have even suffered. And he says that clearly. So he didn't position himself as somebody who was with government and was actually integral.
It was a clever move he did.
Yes.
But the clever move, we would tell him that you are one of us, always been there.
Yes, so,
but in campaigning,
and I see it was,
he took a stand.
He isolated himself. but to the extent that
he's a party person.
It got him support.
Of course, he wanted to win by saying whatever he needs to
the extent that there are some people today who said, when I listen to Ken, he's the kind of person that I want to be president because he understands how interest rates are running. The economists in government, they are not decreasing interest rates. They're actually making it suffer rather. He understands how inflation works better because he runs a similar business. He understands the taxes that are affecting businesses. Listen to even those who are who are in the informal sector and doing business. They felt that this is the gentleman who can connect with us on this level. As to whether that's the reality on the ground is not. It's a different thing altogether. But he succeeded in doing something. Connecting
he
more.
Had a script. He had a good script of how to stand on this side, and at the same time he's inside, but hitting the inside. That's how he played his game.
Feelings that are formed by emotions cannot be dislodged by mere reason. And the fact that in every election, people would want to vote for persons that they identify with, persons that best represents their interest. 37.4% voted for Ken Ejapong, who was preaching neglect, who was preaching time for the party. Honorable Asamoah Boateng, who's wanted to be chairman and flag bearer before, would know that when they go around and they campaign, one of the things they tell the people is that when we come, you will get this, you will get that, you will get that. And you know, in 2014 when you were campaigning, one of the things all of you were saying is that, oh, when I come, a women organizer, school feeding coordinator, youth organizer, you become, YE. It's another, that's true. Great. Yes. Great, you understand. So if you have said all of these things and people begin to think otherwise, wouldn't it be fair to assume, to infer that this is a form of a protest against the disappointments that these delegates have felt within their own party?
Yes, no, Winston, that's totally true. And I think Honorable has spoken about that. The Honorable Minister has spoken about that. Raymond has also spoken about that. The fact that some people even said that there are some people in the NPP who are opposition in government. We all know those things, So the thing is that there are some who felt neglected. They felt that the cake was just at the top and it was concentrated around just a few people, and that at least you've come, you've had it, it's enough. Go, let another set also come. So there were some, even within the NPP, who were feeling that way, who were feeling neglected. And so they thought that we've all campaigned, we won the elections, and now it's just a few people. So, and we are feeling neglected. So this is the time for us to also come in. And Kennedy definitely represented those people. But let's also not lose sight of the fact that the delegates are also Ghanaians. And so they also do feel whatever is going on in the country. And we all agree, including the government, that we are in quite very difficult times. The cost of living and other rates that we've mentioned, it's quite difficult. So the delegates might be looking at that and say that the major argument against Dr. Bawumia has also been the fact that he's an economist. He was touted as the economic messiah, and he was billed as somebody who was coming to solve it, but then he's part of the government who is, where there are still some challenges. So they look at it and they say, no, it's going to be difficult for us to go with such a person. Why don't we look for someone who is not as much associated with
Whilst I understand the point, but it's a short-term analysis of most people. The economy is bouncing back. You see, and don't forget that 2020 was a dead year. Yeah. Basically, we couldn't talk. You and I couldn't meet each other.
I think what you're not getting, I'm not even arguing on the substance
so in terms of short-term.
No, I get you. I'm not even arguing on the substance.
Bawumia has not performed. Who said?
Yeah.
Look at what is happening. Look at even before COVID.
So I'm not even talking about the substance of the economy.
And I got the figures here.
I'm not even talking about the substance of the economy. I'm just, like Winston said, we are just sticking to the 37.41 and then the result of the primary election. And then we'll get there. So we are just, so it's still within the NPP we're talking about. Just those who may have voted for Ken, that's all. We're not even going to the broader economic argument.
What was the conclusion? Okay. So those who voted for Ken, why did they vote for him?
That they
would have protest?
Two things. Yeah, two things. We've said that it might be the internal dynamics. They felt everything was concentrated at the top, and so
which Asabi confirmed.
Yeah, which you confirmed. Yeah. And then the second thing was also that they are part of. They are Ghanaians anyway.
Okay, so they also feel the pinch.
They also feel the pinch.
But that's what I said earlier. That if that's the case, it's a very, very serious indictment.
This is what put the pressure on us as a government. And we know, as a government, we are the best communicators ourselves, especially ministers who have portfolios, who understand it. Who should go and communicate better than you? We know that the economy hit the ground. We know. 3 years ago, we couldn't move. We couldn't talk. You and I couldn't meet. We were in our homes. And when you go, you are arrested by the police. Suddenly, 3 years, everybody wants the economy to be back to track when it was. But if you look at the indicators, that when inflation was 54% in December, now it's 38%. In fact, the projection is that it will be 15 or 12 by next July. So we are on a trajectory. The GDP growth, which we know before COVID, was about 6.9. It went to 0.
I guess the point I'm making is that
now it's 3.1.
Yes.
So yes.
But for your own delegates to be punishing
I know. So because it looks like we haven't communicated in our own people.
Which means that they don't even believe.
No, they do. But you see, we need to reach out. We need to connect. But the point is, after 2 terms, somebody who has not benefited from you or not gonna, he will just be like you are.
But you see how
so we have to reconnect, and that's what the ministers.
But if you let's see, the point is, if you can't convince your own delegates,
it's not easy. Look, your own delegates are the ones who will hit you hard.
Wow.
Even with any party. They'll look at you and say, but you and I, when you're in a position, you are like this now. So they are the West.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I can tell you something quickly. We have a major announcement to make. And this is your election headquarters, and we can now confirm the final results of the NPP presidential primary. And you see that on your screen right now. We can now say authoritatively that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has won the NPP presidential primary and has won it with 61.43%. In real numbers, he had 118,210 votes. And you have Kennedy Japan with 37.41%. He secured 71,996 votes. You have in third place Dr. Owusu Akoto with 1,449 votes. That represents 0.75%. And then you have Francis Adainimo in fourth place with 781, and that is 0.41%. And so if you're just joining us on Joy 99.7 FM, here on the Joy News channel, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, is and should right now be on his way to the forecourt of the Hinijan Sports Stadium, where we can now confirm he will be outdoored as the NPP's presidential candidate for the 2024 elections, and he secures 118,210 votes, 61.43%. Kennedy Japan, as was expected, came in second with 71,996, 37.41%. So that's what we are. That's what we are right now with official figures.
A lot of votes, which we expected, because once Alan left the scene, it was almost certain that most of those votes would shift to him, and I knew that, except that we had thought that Dr. Bawumia had done well, gone to the grassroots. But hey, that's the party. That party, nobody controls this party. You can never be sure. Sometimes I call it the rebel party. We're a rebel group. When you are thinking this way, the rest go this way. So Ken has pulled a good number of votes, and percentage-wise, he's always been with us now. Ken, he knows that he's much more in a position that he can.
Let me ask you now. With the final results now known, the party needs to show that you are united.
Yes, please.
Right? The first opportunity for this to happen is tonight at the forecourt of the Hinijan Sports Stadium. Will Kennedy Japan be there, and will he give a concession speech?
Before we came on air, I spoken to some of his people, and he will be there. I wouldn't know what he would say, but obviously once he's there, as a party person, he would have to concede, and he would have to congratulate his brother, who is now the presidential candidate. And indeed, we go in as a team, and I'm assured that he will be there. And that's this party. We are, when it comes to the content, we have the rough edges. As he rightly said, Ken had a strategy to be part, but not to be part. It was a difficult position here he put himself in. I was surprised when he declared he wanted to contest this, because I knew Ken. He never thought about it. If he even thought about it, he could have done some. He could have started about 10 years back, getting things right, putting things in the right position, and he would have been a formidable force. He never thought about it.
But what happened? Give it the insider knowledge, insider filler here. What happened? At what point did he decide, I want to get into this?
I don't know. I think it was like a joke. Oh. And look, I'm telling you, like joke.
But you know.
Well, I knew he had thought about it, but Ken was like, he always thought about even 2012, he thought about it. He thought he could, because he was popular. Yeah. Ken is popular on the ground. He's an ordinary man like me. But he has a knack to connect to people, especially on financial terms. And people obviously are attracted by the financials. So he had both. He had a character who is an ordinary man, and he also had the money to go with it. Mm-hmm. But I never thought he had the serious position that, next year I'm going. So we all were surprised when he declared he was. And at one point, I thought he was even joining Bawumia's campaign team. Then he just decided, I'm going this way.
But he has stated categorically that when he had decided that he wanted to join the Chairman team, the kind of opposition he got from people he thought knew better, the kind of attack he got, even on his business, those are part of the factors that fueled him and said, well, I can also be president. He has stated that categorically. And people like you would know that.
That's lately. It's about a year and 2 years ago.
Yes, just a year recently.
But I know Ken years back, and he never thought about this.
We agree.
But when he's saying 2012, he probably contemplated
2012, after the court verdict, when
in 2013,
2013. Indeed, even candidate Akufo-Addo almost gave up. It was very depressive time. We thought we had won, but the court decided against us. Everybody went, we all went down. But you see, the silver lining in the whole judgment thing was Bawumia. The way he stood up, the way he defended us when we all thought, Charlie, who is going forward? Then when he came up, he made us all become aware that, hey, there's something called the pink sheet. We ignored it. We're not even collecting it. Sometimes, even my own constituency, we finish election, somebody takes the pink sheet and go and sleep with it. Mm-hmm. And then you're looking for, you can find him. Then we thought, that's where to win the election. So Bawumia made us all concentrate on where to win the election. And so from there, I think we had some hope that, look, we can tackle 2016 coming up. And that's when Kennedy also, I had a chat with him. He's come to my house, we eat him before. So Kennedy thought, because he was popular. When you go to Parliament, people come, they want to see Kennedy. And I say his demeanor also endears him to people, and he's got the cash to go with it. And so that combination is good. And so he thought about it, but he wasn't too confident. He thought, maybe, let's wait. But when, as I said, coming towards here, I think he flirted with the Bawumia group for a while. I picked a signal. He flirted with them for a while.
And he flirted with Alan.
I flirted, I heard, but
he said his decision to support Alan. And the attacks
that's when I think
that's why he decided to be president.
That's right. Then he went to the island and he let it out. Then I hear people talking about Ken is a normal person. He's not somebody you cannot approach. He's not a difficult person. And I know Kennedy loves the party. He loves the party to a hero. And he has been made by the party. He has been made by the government, NPP. So Ken would always be with us. He's got a stake now at the table. He always did in the center. But now with the votes he's got and the percentage, who can ignore him? Me, I want him there at the table. And then he can, because he will articulate the view of those who would think, and I believe those who are angry with us at the base. Some of them are not happy with some of us, and they want to express it. So you are right. The election votes have given us some indication to go down, do more work. But we have a candidate who can bring us together, humility-wise, honesty, credential. We'll win this election.
Let me go right now to the EC headquarters where my colleague Emefa Power is standing by because the EC is about to move to the forecourt of the Hinidan Sports Stadium. Emefa, what can you report? We're waiting to get that feed in. We'll get that to you very quickly. Okay, let's get there now.
Of 17 regions have been collated, and as we speak, the entire electoral commissioners are heading to the Ohene Sports Stadium to declare the final results. But from what we have so far, we have Ken Ohene Japong 71,996, like you've been saying. For Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia 118,210, Owuswe Fiye 1,459, Francis Adenimo 781, and the total valid vote 192,446. rejected votes 900, total votes in the box 193,346. And Dr. Srebo Kweku and the other electoral commissioners are on their way to the Ohene Sports Stadium for the final declaration. But thankfully, we have the Director of Elections for the NPP, Evans Nemako, also here in the EC Strong Room. Well, your own assessment of the elections that you organized this year?
Well, thank you very much. I think for the New Patriotic Party has done the yeoman's job. The support we've gotten from the media, the participation of the presidential candidates, the Electoral Commission, and the Ghana Police Service. It tells a lot that the New Patriotic Party is a law-abiding party. We've observed really the guidelines that we put together by the Presidential Elections Committee that had the buy-in of all stakeholders. Once again, the New Patriotic Party has done it. The party has elected for itself our presidential candidate. This victory is a victory for the party, not for any individual. But I think also that this sends a strong signal to the opposition NDC. I remember very well when Mr. Mahama once said that there's no way the New Patriotic Party is going to give the leadership of the party to Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. I think now he must be revising his notes to realize that not as he thought. The New Patriotic Party is a democratic party. We are not a tribal party. We believe in democratic principles. And so in future, if he intends to come out with some of these statements, he must look at it very well. It must be competent. It must be based on facts and figures. So what the New Patriotic Party has communicated today is that we are focused. It is clear in the minds of the party that it will have to be this candidate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, to lead the party to elections 2024, and victory will be that of the New Patriotic Party. I must also add that if you look at the efforts put in by our candidates, i.e. Dr. Koto, Adai Nimo, Kenohine Japan, and Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, it tells you that the New Patriotic Party is formidable. And I must say that they've all accepted the conduct of this exercise to have been free, fair, and transparent. So,
the word on the streets, Mr. Nemako, briefly before we let you go, is that it's surprising that the NPP will give the amount of vote that Kennedy Ohene Japan got to him. It's more like an endorsement of everything that we've seen him do over the period.
It is an endorsement of the New Patriotic Party's philosophy, democracy.
Endorsement of his character as a person.
Endorsement of the New Patriotic Party's attitude, posture, nature, scope, that we believe in participation and views of our rank and file, that we do not impose our opinions on people. People must have the free will to express themselves. But at the end of the day, the party has spoken that our presidential candidate is Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia.
But the party, more like there are those who say that it doesn't look like the speaking, or like you say, the party has spoken, is not as convincing as people were expecting in terms of the percentages that Dr. Bawumia got.
Those people wouldn't get it right.
Why not?
Because the party has spoken.
I told you are getting convincing, overwhelming victory for Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. 61.43%. Is that an overwhelming, convincing win for him, you'd say?
No presidential candidate has won 61% in a presidential election.
We got John Mahama getting 98.6%, the man you are comparing Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia to.
They had no elections. That was an imposition of Mr. Mahama. So I'm telling you that as competitive as this election was, the presidential candidates have accepted that for where we came from, they have all been on board with the program of the Presidential Elections Committee chaired by Professor Michael Kwe. And today, all of them have accepted the outcome of our internal elections. And those who express their opinions are entitled to it. But I'm telling you that the victory is that of the New Patriotic Parties.
So your own rating of the elections that you organized, 1 out of 10, what would it be in terms of the presidential primaries, an election that you oversaw?
So far, so good. The New Patriotic Party is happy. Democracy has won. The New Patriotic Party has won.
What's going to happen from here? We are currently at the EC headquarters. I know we are going to the Ohene Sports Stadium. What exactly is the procedure? What are we going to see when we go to the Ohene Sports Stadium?
The program of the party is that we are going to have the final declaration by the EC, and then we will reveal the candidate, and then they'll be handing over from the president to the new presidential candidate. And that ceremony, I will leave it for all to see when we get to the forecourt of the Accra Sports Stadium. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That's Mr. Evans Nimako. Of course, if the declaration takes a bit longer, it's because of our interview with him, leading the convoy all the way to the Ohene Sports Stadium for the declaration. As we speak, you could see that the EC commissioners are still here. Dr. Sribo Kweku, they are all making their way shortly now that the election headquarters is done speaking to those who matter when it comes to this entire election. They are making their way now to the Ohene Sports Stadium for the final declaration of the results. And your election headquarters has already been bringing you the final results, 17 out of 17 regions, the 17th region being the NPP headquarters. Evans and the team, we're heading to the Ohene Sports Stadium now for the final declaration, unless you have anything else you want clarity to.
By the way, a short while ago, when we got the final confirmation of the results, the EC officers were telling us that they would have to get there and declare. Clearly, there's an understanding between the EC and the party that do not disclose yet. But of course, you were there, you saw it all. You saw it all happen. And that's how we got in the position where we can authoritatively call the elections while we wait for the declaration. I bet that has been sorted out now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, but you have to wait a bit more for the final one, since you already have the full results, I should say.
Thank you very much. LMFI will be leading the team on the ground pretty shortly. She's migrating, but as you can see there, my colleagues are already on standby at the Ohene Sports Stadium. You can see the shot there right now. We can actually listen to a bit of what is happening, because I believe it is the national organizer who is currently addressing the crowd.
Kennedy Japan of the New Patriotic Party, one of the aspirants just arriving here at the Accra Sports Stadium, where the NPP is set to declare Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the winner of the election. He's here in the company of his son, Mr. Japan, as well as the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Vice President, Electoral Commission.
The Vice President of the Republic. The DMP. Sydney, are you ready? Sydney, are you ready? Yes.
After the final declaration, we'll be done.
So the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is expected to be here any moment from now. We've just heard the platform party announce that Kennedy Japan has arrived, and you've seen him there in your shot. Already the police have made significant arrangements for the arrival of the President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, the President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They are expected to be here any moment from now. Our understanding is also that the Electoral Commission and their officials are headed here where they are expected to declare the results formally and announce Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as flag bearer-elect of the governing New Patriotic Party. He is expected to lead the governing party into the 2024 election. As of now, all who matter within the New Patriotic Party are here at the Accra Sports Stadium, by the President and his wife, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They are the only two persons who are not here. Almost all government ministers are here. The Chief of Staff at the Office of the President, Fremont Paris, is here. A number of New Patriotic Party MPs are also here. So the New Patriotic Party really ready to, as it were, start the battle towards the 2024 election. Just a little under a year, over a year to happen on the 7th of December. But just on the podium, they've announced musician Sydney, who is about to perform. What this has been is that it's not just about the political contest, it is also a carnival of a sort. It's a carnival where so many New Patriotic Party supporters are here in their numbers, enjoying the moment and also signaling their readiness for the 2024 election. So you see the musician Sydney on the podium there. But the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is expected to be here any moment from now to officially be crowned the New Patriotic Party's leader going into the 2024 elections. Of course, it means that he would have to share the spotlight with the President, because the President of the Republic is also the head of the New Patriotic Party. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is also going to lead the party into 2024, and if he wins the 2024 election, assumes the office as President and also becomes the head of the New Patriotic Party. But as of now, the results have trickled in so far. We understand that almost all the persons who were in the race, Dr. Usu Afriakoto, who is here, Francis Adainimo, who is here, have all called the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to concede defeat. We cannot confirm if Kennedy Japan has done so, but he being here and having been introduced clearly tells you that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has been acknowledged as the New Patriotic Party's flag bearer-elect. And finally, in the next few minutes, in the next few hours, we expect that he will officially be crowned as the party's leader going into the 2024 elections. Already, his advanced team, a number of vehicles have already come in there, awaiting the arrival of the Vice President. So that is the situation here at the Accra Sports Stadium, where so many NPP supporters have massed up here at the frontage of the sports stadium, enjoying the moment, savoring this victory of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. It was a close contest, of course, as you have seen now. The Vice President's campaign, led by Samia Oku, told Joy News they expect nothing less than 70%. In fact, some of the polling that had been done by certain international agencies had also predicted more than 70%. But from the data we have so far, the Vice President is just hovering around 60%, a little over 60%. That is what he is winning with. But the New Patriotic Party supporters here say, well, This shows that the New Patriotic Party is strong. They are going to count on Kennedy Japan to go to the base of the New Patriotic Party, reinvigorate the base that have been said to be disillusioned, to ensure that they can match the NDC boot for boot in 2024. And today has been such an interesting day for the New Patriotic Party, where so many of their delegates, more than 190,000, turned up out of the 204,000 that was expected to vote to actually now elect the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. At any moment from now, we expect that he, in the company of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and their spouses, Samira Bawumia and the First Lady, will all arrive here at the Accra Sports Stadium to officially declare that the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has won the election. And that is what is happening now. We have some musical performance now. And if you see the podium, we have musician Sydney, who is playing some of his music, some of the NPP anthem, and a number of the key things that have happened. And so that is the situation here at the Accra Sports Stadium. And as you take over at the studio, let me say that we expect again in the next few minutes for the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, to arrive. The information we have been picking is that he will arrive in the company of President Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo to officially hand the baton over to him to officially lead the New Patriotic Party into the 2024 election.
And that there is my colleague Kweku Asante, live from the Ohene Sports Stadium. We're going to stay with this. We're going to have this in the background for you because, as we know, Kennedy Japan has arrived and Dr. Bawumia has arrived also. I guess you're waiting for the president himself to also arrive, and then this will be underway. And how important, and I'm coming to you, Dr. Chiskanko, how important is this in terms of the signal it sends to the rest of the party into the country, that Kennedy Japan is there? We saw the body language, and this is what you do. He walks in, he's shaking hands, he's waving at the crowd. The body language between himself and Bawumia looks very cordial. On the night when many feared that he wouldn't show up there, until we heard from Simon Asamabwatu, who called and made sure that he can tell us that he was coming. But you've watched it. You've watched the way he walked in. You watched the way the crowd responded to him. You watched the way he interacted with Bawumia. That body language. What are you reading to this? And how significant is what we've just seen?
Very, very significant, because we've seen elections where after the primary elections, they go into the general elections, and there are some people who are still bitter about the primary election. There are some people who are still holding on to the grudges of the primary election, and it takes away from the candidate in the general election. And so for us to see, I mean, look at the global picture. When Barack Obama won the election, he did the same thing. He had to bring in Hillary Clinton and bring in some of the losing candidates so that they come together. In the same way, it is very significant for us to see Kennedy Japan walk there, because don't forget, this was a very, for all that we say, it was a very bitter election. It was a very close election.
Accusations, counter-accusations.
Yes, and so for us to see that happening, not even in the most developed democracies have we seen the losing candidate or the second candidate come on the same platform. The best they'll do is to just pick a phone and call, and then that's that. And then after that, sometimes they have to make overtures to get them on board. But this is Ghana, an emerging democracy, and on the same stage, on the same platform, on the day he lost the election, maybe one of the saddest days of his life that you've lost. It's not easy to lose an election, remember? It's a very emotional roller coaster for all that you see him walking on the stage doing that.
And wasting too.
Right.
I have support.
And you too, yes. And that's about
It's a crazy thing. So for us, no, let's not downplay it. And so we need to give him that credit. Let's not downplay that. To see him come on that same platform, waving to people, started to indicate his willingness to patch the bridge or to come together. I think that it's not just only for the NPP or Kennedy Japan, but also for our democracy. It shows it's an example. I mean, look at that image.
It was beautiful.
Yes, it's an export to the rest of the world in terms of our democracy. And kudos to Kennedy himself. For doing that. I think that he's beginning to win a lot of capital for himself as far as the NPP is concerned moving forward by just that act that he's done. Of course, he's going to be a very important figure even for the Bawumia campaign.
And hold that thought, because we're
forward.
going to ask him that question right after this. So, yes, your thoughts on this.
I told you he's coming, and Ken has shown maturity.
And you were right when you told us that.
To his people and said, Ken is
and that's why we're happy to have you here. And so you give us that sort of information that none of us can get. Insider information, yes.
Ken is a brother to me. I've encountered him severally, and he's come to my house. I go to him, and he's a politician. He's a grassroots person. He understands there's a connection with the people, ordinary people. Sometimes we those of us born in the village, we do have that because it's something we pick when we're growing up. And he's money that also with the little money that little in terms of he's got money.
Relatively, yeah, comparatively, yes, I know what you mean.
So that combination is good for Ken. And Ken is always an NPP person. I say he's an NPP-made businessman, and he can never forgo that. And I'm glad he's there. Ken, if you're listening to me, thank you for coming over, and your concession speech must be solid, and you know what we're expecting from you. But going forward, we now have a candidate. Dr. Bawumia has done extremely well, as I said, against the odds, first-timer, and he's helped us shape this government in a way, and he's still our shining star. I don't know when we will come to the economy, and I would have.
We'll come right after the declaration is done. We'll talk about
this idea that because he was the economic management team head, he couldn't. It's not.
We'll come to that. We'll come to that
and I'll explain. But the point going forward is that we have a solid candidate, Bawumia, whose humility and honesty and his digitization, and also the stamp of his name on almost every good thing that we've done helps us going forward. The NDC fears him. They fear him. They ignore everybody and attack him. Even when it's President Akufo-Addo's fault, in a way, they just ignore him. They say, hit this man. But you see, now he's going to pitch with Mahama, and the Northern votes is going to be interesting coming 2024.
We'll talk about that.
Don't also forget that Bawumia has also encroached and basically has a base in the South. Look at even the figures.
Yeah, I don't want you to expand on that thought too much because we'll come to that.
I'm a happy person.
I know. I want us to do the analysis on the soft side of what we see. Yes, please go on.
Evans, before you go, and
I'll come up to you to also give me your
thoughts. This will make him happy because I've tangled a lot with, but maybe this will make him happy because somebody is sending me this and he's saying if you look at the trajectory, 1992, Edubuahin won with 56.6%, 1996, J. Kufuor won with 51.9%. 2007, Nana Akufo-Addo won with 47.97%. And so for a first-timer to come in with 62%, it gives a lot of context to what he's done. And I think that is what Honorable has been trying to say. So let's give that.
But the person omitted all the times they expanded what they call it.
So I think he's trying to talk about the pre-expansion.
And this is a subject we touched on before about the significance of the number and exercise.
And the NPP expanding before the NDC going out and expanding the base. It's interesting. We are here at the studio. Look at the excitement in the air today. The politics of it is expanded to a grassroots base, not a small group vote.
That's important.
It's important.
I mean, that's without doubt.
Just how
hopefully next time every Cadbury member of the party will vote.
Yeah, we're going there.
Raymond, still staying with the scenes we saw there. Dr. Chisikanku has said a lot about it. For yourself, what are you reading into that?
So, in the run-up to the election, the man has said categorically that if you make a mistake and deploy the tactics that he was unhappy about in the super delegates election, he is not like Chematin. He is not the kind of person that Chematin is. So he's not going to take it like the way Chematin took it. And that he's really going to react in ways that people will not be happy with. That signal he sent like 3 times in interviews and in one of these, what they call rallies. Now, that really got a lot of people worried. Because I know that in this election, many people were working on eggshells because this is Kennedy Japan. If you make a mistake and attack you and he feels that, he will come at you. He's not going to be reserved.
He's going to us.
He's going to respond to you. And his last response to the wife of the vice president, I mean, even saying that I'll not respond, had its own difficulty. So there was fear in the air that we need to manage this properly or else we'll be in some difficulty with him. Luckily, and we've seen today, and we cannot dismiss the fact that the elections went well, largely across the country, You can talk about the other things, people attempting to give money, but, well, he also paid, so that's not really an issue. But the very things that he complained about in the previous Delegates did not happen now. So it pretty much was clear that if things don't go wrong, I'm staying and I'll play my role. But then again, I think people have spoken to Kennedy Japan. And in the last few days of the election, it was so clear to him that maybe I underestimated my own role in this party and the things I could do going forward. You could see that if the man knew that this is a path he wanted to take, he would have channeled it differently. So this show today was an extension of that. He's, by appearing there, told everybody that I am not the divisive person that you thought I could be.
He's never been.
Yes, I'm the kind of guy who's going to play ball, and I'm the kind of guy you can see as the future of the
party. Pause for me. I believe we may be receiving the president now to the Ohenidan Sports Stadium. Okay. Let's get the feeding so we can just listen to the sights and sounds exactly.
The Vice President has arrived. The Vice President has arrived here at the Accra Sports Stadium, and any moment from now we are just going to see the Vice President walk out there and go to the podium. The Vice President and his team, a number of Benz, the First Lady's vehicle, the President of the Republic is also expected to be here. So any moment from now we are going to see the First Lady herself has just gone in there, and so we expect that the President himself, the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, just there declaring and throwing his hand in support and actually sending a message out there to all the delegates and the New Patriotic Party supporters who have arrived here that he is here. The Vice President has just what the Education Minister, I see him there. He is also here, and very he's going to climb up on the podium, and that is going to happen. The President is also expected to be here any moment from now.
The Director of Electoral Services at the EC.
Hello. Two. His Excellency the President, His Excellency the Vice President, my uncle, Professor Michael Quay, who was the chairman of the Presidential Election Committee, respect to all members of the election committee. Good evening, Chief of Staff, ministers here, every protocol observed. Good evening to everybody. Before I'll talk about the declaration, I want to entreat all of you that we are exhibiting the 2020 register and the 2023 supplementary register. Please, we want to entreat all of you to go and check on your name. The purpose is for you to know your polling station, effect corrections if it be. If there's any inclusion, you request for it. If you know anybody who has passed away after registration, please help us to clean the register. We have also introduced the short code *713*81# that without even going to the polling station, you can check on your details. But in case you key in that short code and there's anything that you want to effect, you will have to go to the district office where you are a voter to effect the necessary changes. This is the greeting from the Electoral Commission. On behalf of the chairperson and the entire commission, we want to congratulate you for the support you gave us in the supervision of your work. Without much ado, I will go straight to the business. As you are aware, 4 people contested, and these are the results. Candidate number 1, Ken Ohenidan Ejapong, he had 71,996. Mahmoud Baumia, 118,210. Owusu Afriye Akoto, 1,459. Francis Aden Nimo, 781. Total valid votes, 192,446. Total rejected ballots, 900. Total vote cast, 193,346. By your constitution, for somebody to be declared a winner, the person should have 50% plus. And by our computation, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia had 91.47%. Sorry, 61.47%. 61.47%. So, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia is duly elected as the flag-bearer going to 2024. Thank you very much.
Electoral Commission.
Yes.
Excellent job executed by the Electoral Commission.
Very excellent.
Electoral Commission ya bomba baso. Ghana Police. Ya bomba baso. Maya de pa. Maya de.
Oma Bojuma.
Straight into action.
Oma Bojuma.
The party at the Juma as a presidential elections committee, sir. Now, we shall call on the chairman, Committee Naya Jumapa. And this is the Presidential Elections Committee, led by the very respected former Speaker of Parliament, the very respected Professor Mike Okwe, to deliver brief. We kakrabi enya kasabebre, be kasaka krabi. The Presidential Elections Committee. The Presidential Elections Committee.
All the security agencies, Munina Mayadi, police, soldier, Munina Yaboma Basu, Regional Police Command. Hello, Kukudu, Eshi. Kukudu, Awususu, Kukudu, Eshi Rado.
President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Vice President, Dr. Mahamadou Baumia, Chairman of the NPP and your executive, honorable ministers, honorable members of Parliament, Council of Elders, patrons and trustees, fellow crocodiles, we have come to the end of a very exciting journey, all in search of a flag bearer for our party for election 2024, for which we welcome and congratulate all the honorable contestants of the process. On behalf of the Election Committee, I wish to congratulate our worthy contestants who have all acquitted themselves most credibly as great gladiators in the electoral arena. This evening, we wish to remind that there is no victor nor vanquished. The NPP is the winner of the entire process. However, one thing is demanded of the victor, in particular, in every battle. The vanquished is finished and has little to offer. It is up to the winner to show magnanimity and embrace every loser in order to fight together for the ultimate victory in Operation 2024. This is the way to break the eight. The committee is grateful for the opportunity to serve our great party. We thank all aspirants for cooperating with us. We look forward to incorporating all the rules we introduced this year, which include the intra-party advisory committee in one publication for future processes to strengthen the deepening of democracy in our party and in our nation. We are grateful for the Inspector General of Police, the police administration, and their able police officers for ensuring an incident-free process. Our appreciation also goes to the EC chairperson and her lieutenants for conducting a successful election. We further praise God for a very good weather across the country. Long live the NPP. Long live Ghana. Indeed, we also appreciate the media extensively. We, the New Patriotic Party, the elephant is our winning symbol. We are glad to serve. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, the President. Led by Professor Michael Kwe, Honorable Afenyo Ken, a member. Afia Nsu, a member. Great. And then you have the former treasurer, Mr. Bankwaya, a member. You have Madame Talata Asobayire, Yema Menso, a member. And then you have William Yamwa, member. Choboy, yeah, Choboy, yeah. Kukudu, Kukudu, the General Secretary, the Chief Spokesperson of the party.
Yeah, that's right.
Your General Secretary.
My General Secretary.
General Secretary.
Yes.
Our General Secretary.
Yes.
Akoranyame.
Yes.
Onona Jumadie.
Yeah.
Ne modi mo.
The JFK.
Ama Jumadie nyina no akobo. Akobo. Yemfo dede yo. Yentunsa. Enfre. The General Secretary of the party. Lawyer. Justin.
The Esquire. Hey, the Esquire. That's right.
Thank you. We don't have time. Your Excellency, the President of our dear Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, Your Excellency, the Vice President of our dear Republic, Dr. Alhaji Mahamudu Bawumia, our revered Chief of Staff, the National Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Stephen Ayesu in team, national officers of our party, Chairman of the Presidential Elections Committee, Professor Michael Ironkwe, our dear aspirants, all other protocol observed. Indeed, today is a great day for the New Patriotic Party. It is a great day for the New Patriotic Party. The party has made history today. Since 1992, we have had 3 great personalities who have led this party. In 1992, we had Professor Edubwain from Eastern and Ashanti region. He passed on the mantle to our revered former President J.A. Kufuor,
yes,
from Ashanti region.
Yes.
He passed on the baton to His Excellency, our current President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, from Eastern region.
Adodi.
Not long ago, in this country, someone made a statement.
Yes.
When it comes to NPP, there is no way a person from the north can ever become the flag bearer of our party.
Yeah.
But today, what has happened?
General Secretary.
Today, what has happened?
History. It has happened.
Today, what has happened?
History.
Today, what has happened?
History.
Today, what has happened?
History.
In our history, the New Patriotic Party is no more and can never be tagged as an account party. Because today, we have the flag bearer who come from the northern part of the country.
That's right.
That shows the national character of the New Patriotic Party. We are waiting to see the day that Yanom will also elect an Akan presidential candidate. As we have gathered here today, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, I want to use this opportunity to thank national officers for the immense sacrifice, for the immense commitment that they showed from day one that we decided to conduct the presidential primaries. As a party and as human institution, we are not perfect. But as all of you can attest today, this has been one of the most peaceful, transparent, and well-organized internal elections in this country. The election is over. We don't have aspirant A or aspirant B. We have a presidential candidate of the New Patriotic Party. On this note, I shall call on Mr. or Honorable Adenimo to make a short statement to all of us. Honorable Adenimo.
Honorable Adenimo, Mumba Yedede, Muyedede, Mumba Musem.
Yedede Manu, Yedede Manu.
Mumba Musem.
The signal is unity.
Yes, sir.
And we are showing it today.
DJ, hold on.
Kukurudu.
Eshi.
Kukurudu.
Eshi.
Kukurudu.
Eshi. Rado.
The President of the Republic, H.E. Nana Akufo-Addo, and his wife, the Vice President of the Republic and flag bearer-elect of the New Patriotic Party.
That's right.
H.E. Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and his wife, the Chief of Staff, the National Chairman of the party, the Chairman and members of the Presidential Elections Committee. I do recognize all other protocols. Tonight, It's also another great day in the history of the New Patriotic Party. We have made history, and this history will remain in this party. We want to thank first and foremost the creator of the universe for giving us this day, that we are gathered here to adore our newly elected flag bearer and leader of the New Patriotic Party. Let me take the opportunity formally to congratulate H.E., the Vice President and flag bearer-elect. Earlier on, I placed a telephone conversation with him, and then I considered to him and congratulated him for the marvelous work that he has done to achieve this history. The task is over. The battle ahead is to secure the victory of 2024. And so I also want to thank the rank and file of the party and all delegates for making the presidential primaries today a successful one. Together, we have to prosecute this agenda. And I can assure you that, Francis Adainimo, I am committed to the cause of the party and for history to be made in 2024 by the party breaking the 8 to stay in government for 12 years and for 16 years and beyond. It is possible. Of course, the victory has been delivered to the man. It is possible. In 2024, we are looking forward to seeing the victory being delivered to the New Patriotic Party under the "It is possible" slogan. I want to urge all members of the party, let us bury our differences. Let us pursue peace and unity amongst ourselves. It is better that we stay in government than to go out of government. And I know our president is going to work hard together with everybody and the flag bearer that this victory shall be secured next year. On this note, once again, I congratulate you, H.E., flag bearer-elect, and I congratulate all of us as members of the party. May God bless the New Patriotic Party. May God bless our homeland, Ghana. And I pledge myself in supporting the work of the flag bearer. Thank you very much, and God bless
Thank you, Honorable Adenimo. At this venture, I will invite Dr. Ousu Efiye Akoto to also have a short message for us.
Concludo.
Eshi.
Concludo.
Eshi.
Concludo.
Eshi.
Excellency, the President of the Republic, the First Lady, let me take this opportunity to stand on the protocols so well laid down by Honorable Adenimo to make a few remarks. All of us here tonight are witnesses to a very historic event. For 16 good years, the face of our President, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, has represented the image of the New Patriotic Party. The time has come to change the baton. And the party has made a firm decision to bring in the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. It is a very incisive decision that has been taken today. So from today, we are going to see a new face. I'm very confident that having worked with the Vice President on all the major institutions of the government for 6 years, that he will lead us to victory come next year, 2024.
Dada!
I would entreat everyone who has taken a hit in the heat of the campaign. Let's bury all those and pretend that they never happened. And let's get together as one in unity so we can defeat the NDC. Come 7 December 2024. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Just cute team.
Thank you. Cho Bai! Hey! Cho Bai! Hey! Cho Bai! Hey! Cho Bai! Cho Bai! Cho Bai! Hey! The next on the list. The next on the list. The next on the list. The showdown! The member of parliament. The showdown! The showdown! Popularly known as the showdown. Honorable Kennedy Akoprako Etapa. The showdown! Showdown! Kennedy Diasa, Honorable Diasa, Honorable Diasa, Honorable Diasa, Honorable Diasa, Diasa, Honorable Diasa. Hey, 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 hey. Kennedy Japan, the master. Kennedy Japan, master. Thank you, Mr. DJ. Thank you. Chobai, Chobai. MPP will say yeah, yeah. MPP will say yeah, yeah. MPP, yeah. MPP. Mr. President, the First Lady, the Vice President, the Second Lady, Chief of Staff, National Chairman, Council of Elders Chairman, Election Committees Chairman, my colleagues, aspirants, all protocol observed. Indeed, it's a great day today. I believe the party has been fair and transparent. Yes! That is the only thing I've always been preaching. And I must admit, this election is fair. And my grassroots have spoken. And therefore, I accept the results in good faith.
DJ Sky.
I pledge my support that we're going to work tirelessly to break the 8.
So, party members that we are here, we should put everything behind us and let's unite this party. With unity, I believe we can break the 8. And that is all I've been preaching for. So I congratulate the Elections Committee, the Police Department, Electoral Commission, and the party members for the commitment you've shown for peace. And I want to assure you, in 2024, the showdown is being translated to NPP. We have to come together and give NDC a showdown.
Showdown!
So, once again, I want to say thank you to my team for working hard, my wife for the support she gave me, and the party faithfuls who believe in me and voted for me. I say a big thank you to you, and I'll never forget you. So let's come together, and success will be ours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
The showdown.
DJ,
the
we
showdown.
are the new patriotic party.
Thank you.
By Sydney, make it ready, make it ready. We are the new patriotic party by Sydney, make it ready.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kennedy Akompreko, Japan. As a political party, we do have a sister party in the United Kingdom, the Conservative Party, and we have Laura Sanders and Rim Adi representing them to give us the solidarity message from the Conservative Party.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you so much for inviting us to take part in the presidential primaries and in today's rally. It's an honor to be here in Accra at such a historic event. I'd like to start by acknowledging the protocols. First of all, Your Excellency the President, Your Excellency Vice President, Honourable Party Chairman, Honorary Secretary General and other NPP Secretariat. I'd like to take this opportunity to offer our congratulations to the newly elected flag bearer. Okay. This is not only a great achievement.
And of course, we are still live with you from the Ohene Sports Stadium, the forecourt. And as you just heard, that the Conservative Party of UK is here to solidarize with the NPP. Simona Samabwati will take leave of us. Before you go, you've watched your party. You've listened to Kennedy Japan. Give me your reaction.
Evans, the most happiest person this evening, listening to the candidates who didn't win, Adainimo, Freya Koto, and Kennedy Japan. And that's the spirit of the contest of the party that we've all built. It's unity, it's getting together and defeating our opponent. And not just defeating the opponent, and be able to get together and run the country to the satisfaction of all Ghanaians. And we are the better managers of the economy. Just as a point I was making, that if it wasn't the COVID which knocked us off, all the figures, if you can see it, inflation was in single digits. The GDP was 6.9%. Interest rate was around 28%, if you remember, and everything was going well. Then we all knocked off. Of course, we didn't plan it. Even America didn't even expect it. Then we had to come back and start building again. And Akufo-Addo said something. The president said, he couldn't bring you to life if you don't cover your nose and die. But if the economy collapses, we can build it up again. And now we are doing so. Inflation, as I speak to you now, as I said, last December was 54%. It's now 38%. And we are projecting 15 to 12% by July next year. If you look at the growth strategy we put in place, which is spearheaded by our Greek, the Planting for Food and Jobs Phase 2, where we are concentrating on mechanized agriculture with the youth, and we're giving them a stretch of land basically for free by the traditional authorities, and the monies for the inputs are available. So I myself, I'm already into agri, but I'm going into large-scale coconut farming. And it's available. Young people don't stay there and say the economy is hard. We have to start with something. Feed yourself. Feed the materials for the industries. And so this is something that we're looking at. And then infrastructure. We know everybody's crying for roads. We can't finish all the roads in a go, but at least we tackle the major ones and the ones that bring the foodstuffs to the market center, and also distributing the foodstuffs and all that. So the economy is coming back. The people who are running the economy, we have confidence in them. Let's all rally together as a party and win the election. Dr. Mahmoud Dunia, congratulations. He's done a good job. He's come into the party a bit late, as most people would say, and it's true. But it is his moment. He's shined, he's disciplined, he's humble.
And now that you have Kennedy Upon declaring his support for him,
it's fantastic.
And that, I guess, closes.
And that connection with Kennedy, who, as I said earlier on, has this knack with the grassroots and with the financial muscle he has. And the vice president who has run the show and everybody has confidence he can run the economy. The two of them getting together and going to the grassroots and working together. 2024.
On that, I know you have to leave. Final question before you leave. Kennedy Upon, running mate?
I don't know. I cannot decide here. I cannot think about it myself. I have to, obviously, the party has to think through. And
should it be in the pool?
I would say he would have a seat at the table, and we would discuss all the possibilities. The party must stay together, first of all. We know what happens. If we go and we don't stay together, the party sets in like 208, we will lose out. So with the example of 208, we have to stick together and come out in our numbers to vote. As to the role Kennedy Japan will play, the flag bearer, Dr. Mahmoud Mahubia, and the team and the party will get together on this. And we are confident that we will beat the NDC.
Okay.
I'm in the cabinet. I know what we're doing. And we will focus, we would be determined, and we will work our socks off.
Okay.
I can tell you, ministers of state have been told, and I'm telling them, and my colleagues, you are the best communicators we have. You are holding a portfolio. You understand your brief. I mean, go out
there. You're going to launch a communications onslaught.
We have to go on and come to you. Somebody was telling me, Joy is an opposition. I said, no, Joy is not opposition. If you watch the way they attack NDC when they were in government, you're just shocked. They're doing their job. Go there and explain your point. Don't run away from media houses. Go there, explain. Even if they don't like you, go. They give you a platform. Go and explain. People are listening, and they are the voters. So I'm glad you invited me. I'm grateful, Evans, and your team here. I'm grateful, and the party is grateful. NPP would be victorious 2024. I have to leave, unfortunately. I've been out the whole day. I went to Obuchuchu, and congratulations to my people in Anglo. It was fantastic. Yana was there, fantastic gathering. Brilliant.
Yeah.
On that note, I will leave. But let me also say condolence to Madam Oboshi Saikofi.
What happened?
She's lost her mother. Professor Sai was like a father to me. He passed away somewhere, and the mother just passed away. Oboshi Saikofi, condolences, and we'll be with you. We sympathize with you.
Stephen Asamoah-Boateng, thank you very much. And he's the chief.
And all my chiefs, I'm working with, I'm here to serve you. Please, let's all live in peace. Those who are fighting and giving me wahala, please, let's all lower the temperature, and then we get our communities to have peace, and then development takes place. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that is Stephen Asamoah-Boateng. I'm going to be taking you. I'm going to be taking you to the headquarters there of the party pretty shortly, and we'll be getting you a sense of what is happening there at the Ohenidan Sports Stadium as the Chieftaincy Minister takes leave of us, and is left now with myself, Raymond, and of course Dr. H.C. Kanku. We'll be analysing a bit of this for you. We'll be crossing over pretty shortly. We just lost the feed for a second. Please stay with us, because we're going to be re-establishing a connection with our team on the ground. This is your election headquarters. It is brought to you by Petrosol, also by the New Force. And if you're just joining us tonight, as you know, Dr. Baumia has been elected the flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party. And a short while ago, we saw Kennedy Dupont deliver his concession speech. And it's very important, some of the things he said. He said, now the battle is over. The party should put its unity behind it. Should be put behind them, and they should focus on uniting the party going forward. He says the showdown is now going to be between the NPP and the NDC, and he's declaring his full support for Dr. Baumia, and many were wondering whether he would say that tonight, and he said so tonight. And Raymond Akwa is with me, whilst we still re-establish connection to the Accra Sports Stadium, the Ohenijan Sports Stadium. Give me your quick reaction to what we heard from Kennedy Dupont.
Well, that the people that really supported him, let's not be... See, from the beginning, the man said, I've seen you members of parliament who are not supporting me and actually causing displeasure for me. And all that's affection, I'll pay you back. I'll make sure that all the things I've done for you, I take him back and take more than just that. That was the beginning of his conversation before we went into this election. During this election, what he has done is also retrace some of those ones and go from region to region. In fact, in the northern region, in the northeast region, he specifically mentioned the MPs who were operating against him. In the Ashanti region, he mentioned the Bantama MP and other people and was quite categorical that if you've ever benefited from my help in times past and you are treating me this way, I'll pay you back. To hear him now say that I'm throwing my full support behind the vice president and we are directing our energies towards the NPP winning the next election.
I want to go to the Ohenijan Sports. We have the feed now. The president is speaking now.
Executives, regional executives, national executives, councils of elders, elections committee, all members of this party, that today you have shown that indeed Ghanaian democracy is safe in your hands. You have shown the commitment of our party and tradition to democratic values and conduct. And I want to really thank you. Say me damwa se papa say ne machira man for Ghana for nyina sampa kana mi ke bia mamuo NPP for etiase epa. So everything went very well today, very transparent and very, very peaceful. Unyakopon eni edanase. Second message is a very simple one. Congratulations. Congratulations, Mr. Flag Bearer, Mr. Vice President Flag Bearer. "16 years of work for the party in opposition and in government has been rewarded by the party with this leadership that has been conferred upon you. I'm confident that Mahamudu Bawumia will be able to unite this party with the assistance of Kennedy Ohene Ajapong, the assistance of Owusu-Efiri Akoto, Adenimo, and all the other contestants, and provide us the strong leadership that will take on the NDC in 2024 and inflict a third successive defeat on John Dramani Mahama. Yamani Trinkwa, na mini say, obetumi akaye nyina bom, mi aba ye Dombako 2024 no, ebetumi ni NDC for no, akọ akai moni ati asese osoro kokoko no eba gegem. Now, the third message. Today, I am passing on the flag bearer position of our party to a new leader. I want to thank every single NPP person here. Now, for the last 16 years, 2007, 2010, 2014, 2020, you have conferred your confidence in me to lead this great party. You have honored me, an honor I can never, ever, ever forget. And have allowed me to serve the party, and through the party to serve the people of Ghana. I've done my best, but I still have one more task to do. And that is, with all my strength, all my energy, to help the new flag bearer, to help Mamadou Bawumia win the election of 2024. Ghana cannot afford the return of the NDC, especially under the leadership of John Dramani Mahama. So let's all pull together. We have to go and campaign hard and easy. Election here by any easy my Nanso the war resistemo kase se bako ye wo yemu na kokodro na ehia no so wo yemu a Onyankopon be pay kwan amaye amankunimdie so abayafa on 27th January 7th December 2024. Timi bai masem kakra basem me ba be dam asepa enyonyam kase a mo 16 years ni and therefore na minim say odo a mo yi akse me no musumo hu say musume domo pa musume domo papa me damase so enti me baba frɛ national chairman and a new flag bearer, my vice president, Kwame Brana Yenye Amanielo Owe. So, it is my great privilege to hand over the flag of the new patriotic party to you, Mahamadou Bawumia. There you are.
Everybody all hands up. Raise your hands up. Raise your hands up. Raise your hands up. That's right. NPP also. Yeah. NPP also. Obianso on the phone light. Obianso on the phone light. Obianso on the phone light. Boya.
Now we will hear from His Excellency, the Vice President, a newly elected presidential candidate.
It's possible.
New Patriotic Party.
It's
His
possible.
Excellency, the Vice President.
It's possible.
Dr. Mamadou Bawumia.
Thank you very much. Kukurudu.
She.
Kukurudu. Kukurudu. Your Excellency, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic. Your Excellency, the former President, J. Kufuor, who I know is watching from home. Our National Chairman, Stephen Intim, the General Secretary, Lawyer Justin Kodia, Chairman of the Council of Elders, Honorable Hakman Oswajiman, the National Council members of the National Executive Committee, Chairman and members of the Presidential Elections Committee, Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, Constituency Chairman and Executives, Electoral Area Coordinators, and Polling Station Executives, members of our great party, our friends from the media, ladies and gentlemen. Moments ago, the Electoral Commission of Ghana declared the outcome of the 2023 NPP presidential primary. From the certified result, I was pronounced the winner with 61% of the valid votes cast. I therefore stand here with profound gratitude and humility, having received the greatest honor of my life. The victory is not mine, but ours. From Bogoso to Bolgatanga, from Axim to Zarantinga, as the party has united and chosen a path to walk in unison. As a wise man once said, a leader without any followers is just a man going for a walk. And I can proudly say that I feel the support from each and every one of our members today, as the poll results show that these are the highest percentage numbers for any first-time presidential candidate in the history of our party. We said it was possible. I thank the Almighty God for making this victory possible and for his unending blessings on me, the NPP, and Ghana. It is a victory for the rank and file of our great party, particularly to you, our hard-working grassroots members at the constituency, electoral area, and polling station levels. You enthusiastically came out in your numbers when I visited you throughout the country, and you rallied support for me amongst yourselves at your respective electoral areas. I am immensely grateful to you. The significance of this victory is not lost on me. I am humbled and overwhelmed. I attended Sakasaka Primary School in Tamale, Tamale Secondary School, Buckingham University in the UK, Oxford University, and Simon Fraser University in Canada. However, it has not been an easy journey. My work experience includes a stint as a farm by-day worker with my good friend Dr. Abbas Awolu, who is now in the civil service, during holidays in my secondary school days, to driving a mini cab, which is a taxi in London, and cleaning dormitories in Canada with friends like Richard Opong, who is in Vancouver, as I studied for my PhD to make ends meet. God has brought me this far. I have always worked very hard as a student, a lecturer, a deputy governor, a running mate, and a vice president. And on this historic day, I have been elected as presidential candidate and leader of the great new patriotic party. This is just surreal. I thank God for how far He has brought me. I've always believed that with hard work, honesty, discipline, and faith in God, one can fulfill one's potential. It is possible. I congratulate the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the Presidential Election Committee of the NPP, chaired by the Venerable Professor Mike Eronokwe, for an excellent job done. I also thank and congratulate the security services for an excellent job as well. I also congratulate my fellow aspirants for participating in the process and deepening the democratic credentials of the NPP. Their energies, time, engagements, and resources have contributed to energizing the base of the party and has prepared us all for the crucial battle of 2024. Now let us join together. I am determined to work with all of them and all our supporters to achieve the party's ambition of breaking the 8. That ambition requires the participation of all the aspirants, including my good friend, Honorable Kennedy Ohene Ejapong, who really wanted to give me a showdown today. Well done. Dr. Akotoa Friye Planting, as I call him, Boachi Ajako, Kwabena J. Ajapong, Honorable Joe Ganti, Dr. Kofi Konedu Apreku, Adai Nimo, and Kojo Poku. There are those who would say that we are divided as a party, but I am here to tell them that it couldn't be less true. The NPP is a thriving democracy where leaders are elected, not anointed. And I salute my fellow competitors in this race for partaking in this crucial process. While our plans may differ at times, our visions are aligned. We share a passion for Ghana and a firm conviction that the NPP is the only party that can transform Ghana. The New Patriotic Party will enter 2024 united and energized. We are ready to make a strong and convincing case for another term in office with a fresh mandate and a new leader. Ladies and gentlemen, the journey towards today has been exciting and at the same time fraught with challenges. I remember the auspicious day on the 14th of August 2008, when through the visionary leadership of candidate Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as he was then, and the NPP, I was outdoored onto the uncertain political terrain of our nation. I owe endless gratitude to President Akufo-Addo for his decision in 2008 and his undying confidence in me in the periods 2012, 2016, and 2020. That singular, consistent decision has birthed this historic moment we are witnessing tonight. I thank you, Mr. President, for believing in me. When I left Takoradi in 2008, that fateful day, after my outdooring as running mate to commence my journey in politics. I had the difficult task of convincing a large part of our country to accept the inclusive and truly national character of the new patriotic party. I faced challenges in communities that accepted the decades of propaganda that the NPP was unwelcoming to them. I persevered. I kept going back to those communities, election after election, and with the same message that the NPP is inclusive and ready to work with every Ghanaian, irrespective of tribe or religion. By election 2020, we made significant inroads into the north, taking the majority of seats. Actually, we have equal seats in the old northern region. We also saw increased support throughout the Zongos in the country. In the Volta region, we continued to grow our numbers. It has been a remarkable but difficult journey of preaching the inclusive nature of the new patriotic party to those who have always viewed our great party with suspicion. The doubts regarding the inclusive character of the NPP dominated the discussion when I took the bold decision on 16th of June this year to file my nomination papers at the NPP headquarters to contest to be elected as the presidential candidate of the party. Some analysts were skeptical about my chances, and others confidently dismissed the possibility of the NPP electing a candidate from the northern part of the country. They clearly misconstrued the party's conservatism to mean tribalism or regionalism. I was certain that they misunderstood this great party and its values, because I knew our values of rewarding hard work and dedication would triumph. I knew it was possible. Today's clear decision by over 200,000 delegates of the NPP, the grassroots of the party, reaffirms my knowledge and belief that the NPP is truly an inclusive national party. For a boy born in the heartland of Tamale with a hometown in Walewale to be elected as a presidential candidate of Ghana's largest political party speaks to the character of the party. The NPP is a party that is all-embracing, a party that rewards hard work, loyalty, and commitment to its values. The delegates, by today's decision, have resoundingly dismissed any doubt that the NPP is not inclusive and does not reward hard work. From virtually every constituency in the country, the message has been the same. In the NPP, we do not care about where you come from. We are tolerant of Ghana's religious diversity. We elect those deserving of leadership, those who are capable of governing, and those with proven traits of integrity, incorruptibility, and hard work. With this resounding victory, the NPP is sending an invitation to the men and women in Gamashi to join me in this journey of possibilities. The NPP has a place for you. To our men and women in the Zongos scattered across the 16 regions, I say to you that in the NPP, it is possible to rise to the top. I invite you to join us in this journey of possibilities. The NPP has a place for you. To the people of the Volta and OT regions who may have long doubted if you will have a place in the NPP, you have been answered today. I invite you to join us in this journey of possibilities. The NPP has a place for you. To the people of the North, we have often been told that the NPP is not our political home. Today, the delegates have demonstrated absolute confidence in us. I invite you to join us in this journey of possibilities. The NPP has a place for you. In the Ashanti region, the citadel of NPP politics, I have been shown unbelievable love and support. In the Eastern region, a fortress of our party, the support has been remarkable. In the Greater Accra, Western North, as well as Bono, the three Bono, Afu, and Bono East regions, I have received tremendous support and love from the rank and file of the NPP. In the Volta region, where our party's fortunes continue to grow considerably, I am very encouraged that we will do even better in 2024. In the 5 northern regions, Northern Savannah, Northeast, Upper East, and Upper West, as they have always done in past elections, join the rest of the country to emphatically vote for the winning candidate. I have won convincingly in 14 out of 16 regions, and this clearly demonstrates an energized party with absolute confidence in me. With absolute confidence.
Dr. Bawumia delivering his acceptance speech there. Unfortunately, we have a slight technical hitch. We're going to be connecting back to him. That's it. Dr. Bawumia delivering that acceptance speech.
For the political class, they needed more opportunities for work. They needed improved living conditions, and they wanted improved public services. These are legitimate demands, and we cannot ignore them. We will continue to work hard for the people of Ghana. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have spent the last 7 years assisting the President to deliver on many of these demands, to create more opportunities for the youth, improve the well-being of our people, create inclusive access to secondary education and healthcare, develop and expand the road infrastructure of our country, create great convenience in accessing public services wherever one finds himself or herself, and to leverage technology to fast-track development through digitalization. Notwithstanding these achievements, the unforeseen global economic downturn of the past 3 years, which derailed the significant economic gains and impact we made between 2017 and 2021, has had a devastating effect on our economy in the past 2 years, just as it has on many other economies around the world. This has affected many, including government itself, the private sector, and our households. The cost of living has increased dramatically, and Ghanaians are feeling the pinch. I have seen the sacrifices Ghanaians are making, and the hardships many Ghanaians are going through. And I am as concerned as my fellow countrymen and women. By the grace of God Almighty, together with the remarkable sacrifices, patience, and optimism of Ghanaians, the work of economic recovery is underway. GDP growth has picked up. Consumer price inflation is on the decline. Exchange rate depreciation has dramatically slowed down since February this year, and the budget deficit as a percentage of GDP is also on the decline. I will continue to support the President to sustain these gains. As a party, we must loudly and consistently tell the public about our achievements, as well as our ongoing efforts. We are all communicators, each one of us an NPP ambassador, and we should be telling the NPP story in our daily lives as well as the public stage at every opportunity we get. I am convinced that the NPP is the best option for the progress and prosperity of the Ghanaian people. My own core values, integrity, honesty, discipline, hard work, and inclusivity, my can-do attitude, my rejection of the tag of impossibility, my passion to unleash the creative energies of the youth, my compassion for the poor and vulnerable. All of these align perfectly with the values with which our forebears created this political tradition. So, to the NPP rank and file, I wish to say to you, today you have placed your trust in me. I shall not disappoint you. Ghana has given me everything, every opportunity and grace. I have dedicated my life to give back and to serve this wonderful country to the best of my ability with every breath in my body. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have my own vision and my own priorities. Given the opportunity by you, the people of Ghana, to lead, I shall govern as my own man with guidance from God Almighty. My vision is to build an inclusive, food self-sufficient, data-driven, and systems-based nation that will fully participate in the global digital revolution to resolve our problems and also to usher in a golden age of benefits from our natural resources. I want to lead a nation that improves and unleashes the talents of our youth and offers good jobs with good pay and sustainable growth with macroeconomic discipline. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the presidential candidate of the NPP, it would be my commitment to the youth of Ghana. The talent of our youth in various sectors such as information technology, robotics, entrepreneurship, the creative arts, sports, and so on is just amazing. When we bring the talents of the youth together, we will surely build a mighty nation. Together, we can transform this nation and do even more in many areas. I therefore invite the youth, particularly the Gen Zs, to join me in this journey of great possibilities. We have a place for you. As a technocrat, it was doubted if I would gain space in politics, long dominated by career politicians. This victory is an invitation to technocrats and professionals to join me in this journey of possibilities. The NPP has a place for you. With open arms, I invite everyone listening to me tonight to join us in this journey of possibilities. Together, we can build this nation. I am encouraged by the ingenuity and the can-do spirit of the youth, the tireless efforts of our farmers, the bravery of our fishermen and women, the business acumen of our mothers and sisters in the markets, the passion of our drivers, the dedication of our security personnel, the sacrifices of our teachers, as well as the commitment of our doctors and nurses and other healthcare workers. I am encouraged by the entrepreneurial spirit of our men and women who step out on a daily basis looking for genuine support to create opportunities for themselves and many others. I am encouraged by the literate society we are creating through our free access to secondary education and expanded support for tertiary education. Our country's future is really bright with a highly educated and skilled youthful population, leveraging technology for our economic transformation. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am encouraged by the beautiful diversity of our country, our peaceful coexistence, which respects each other's faith, which unites us and brings all of us together for a common goal of seeing a transformed Ghana. We stand here today in celebration, but the real work starts now, and I have no intention of slowing down. I will get right back to work, sit down with Ghanaians from all walks of life, from civil society and student organizations to young professionals, stakeholders in the business community and religious leadership. The position I seek needs to be earned, and I intend to show every single voter, from the farmer to the financial head, that I am the right man for the job. I will listen to your concerns and answer your questions, because we are partners in this process, and any worthwhile gain comes from communal investment. We speak about breaking the 8, but it's important to remember that that's more than just a slogan. By breaking the 8, we break with the culture of complacency. We reject the tacit agreement that power is handed over every 8 years, thereby relinquishing responsibility for the growth of this nation. This 8-year cycle stands in the way of a long-term vision for Ghana. Therefore, breaking it is not about NPP bragging rights. It is about being able to successfully implement long-term visions and policies under a consistent leadership. Breaking the 8 is not about partisanship, but about patriotism, and knowing that Ghana deserves consistency, focus, and follow through, not political bickering and division. We will break the 8 in unity, and we will govern in unity, because regardless of the margin of our victory, we govern for and in the interest of 100% of Ghanaians. We have two tasks ahead, ladies and gentlemen. First is to lead the new patriotic party to victory in 2024. And secondly, to steward this nation from recovery to prosperity. Given the chance, I am determined to serve as a leader for a united Ghana, for all Ghanaians, regardless of background, circumstance, or socioeconomic status. Ghana is a haven of peace and coexistence, and one of the many strengths of our nation is that while we may differ and debate, come together in unity for the good of Mother Ghana. We will come together in unity. I have felt the hope and unity as I have traveled across the country over these past months, and I feel it here today as we prepare to build back better for us all. So we celebrate today, but tomorrow we get back to work for you, for Ghana, and for all of us. I cannot end my speech without my deepest appreciation to certain personalities in our party and country. As a believer and practitioner of the liberal democratic values and principles of the Dankwa Dombo Buzia tradition, like all of you here, I have been inspired throughout my life by the thinking, deeds, sacrifices, and accomplishments of such great political icons of our country and party, such as Dr. J.B. Dankwa, Chief S.D. Dombo, Professor K.A. Buzia, Edward Akufo-Addo, Obechebi Lamte, Alhaji Yakubu Tali Tolona, Jato Kalio, Naba Ifakabo, S.G. Anto, Professor Albert Dubois, R. Amponsa, J.B. Darocha, J.H. Mensah, and J. Kufuor. I express my profound gratitude to the founders of our tradition, without whose sacrifices I would not be here today. I am also indebted to so many men and women who have sacrificed and continue to sacrifice for our party and country on a daily basis without outward recognition. I extend my sincere thanks to President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his beautiful Rebecca, by any measure a first-class First Lady, for their support and confidence in me over the years. I am truly grateful. I thank former President Kufuor, who first allowed me to serve as Deputy Governor of the Bank of Ghana, from where I was noticed and subsequently poached into politics. I truly appreciate his wise counsel and guidance over the years. May the beautiful soul of his departed wife, Mama Teresa, rest in peace. I also thank former Vice President Alhaji Aliyu Mahama and his wife Hajia Ramatu Aliyu Mahama for their inspiration. May the Almighty God continue to bless their souls. To my beautiful wife Samira and our children, I thank you for your sacrifices and love in the journey so far. I thank the polling station executives, the electoral area coordinators, constituency executives, regional executives, the council of elders, patrons, founding members, past officers, our external branches, and the national executives for their massive support of my bid to lead the NPP. I will not disappoint you, and I promise to work hard with all for victory in 2024 by the grace of God. I thank our distinguished members of parliament for their unflinching support for my candidature. They have been immeasurable in their support. I thank the thousands of volunteer groups who worked day and night to secure this historic victory for me and the party. I am indebted to all of you. To the energetic youth of the NPP in Ghana, I shall lead the NPP to deliver on your aspirations. I thank you for your support so far, and I pray for your continued support. I also thank my campaign team for their dedication and commitment to executing the mandate assigned them. They delivered a victory that the nation will never forget. I also thank my office staff for their hard work and commitment throughout the years. To my father, Alhaji Mumuni Bawumia, and my mother, Hajia Mariama Bawumia, I wish you were here to witness the dreams you had for me. I thank you for raising me to be the person I am today. May God continue to bless your beautiful souls. To my late press aide, Kwabena Buedu, I know you are excited about this victory wherever you are. We made it. Thank you, and God bless you. I thank our friends from the media for their massive coverage of the entire process. The NPP and I are grateful for your partnership. I'm also immeasurably grateful to the traditional rulers, the clergy, and the ulama for their prayers and encouragement and wise counsel over the years. I thank all of you who have gathered here and those who are listening and watching from afar. It is indeed possible. God bless you. God bless the NPP. And God bless our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. Thank you very much. Now go day.
More than 30 minutes long speech there read by the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. This speech is signaling his intention to lead the governing party to victory in 2024. He says that he is going to channel the energies of everyone to ensure that this election happens. And the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has had his hand raised by Honorable Kennedy Japan and the persons who ran with him for this election. They say that 2024, the NDC should prepare for a showdown. They are coming in hard. They are going to ensure that they break the 8, and in 2024, they are going to win the 3rd successive election. So this function has just come to a close. The Vice President has been formally now acclaimed and announced as the running mate for the governing New Patriotic Party. He is now the leader of the New Patriotic Party. He is now the leader of the New Patriotic Party. The Vice President and his entourage, the President and his entourage will all now leave the scene, and there will be Thanksgiving service tomorrow, as has been announced by Henry Nana Boakye. But it's been an incredible day of election with 204,000 delegates across the country going to the polls. We have about 193,000 persons who actually cast their votes in this election, and this election has now been won by His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is now the new leader of the New Patriotic Party. The process has unraveled itself so far, and it has come to a close. The New Patriotic Party now has a leader. The New Patriotic Party now has a candidate for the 2024 election. The New Patriotic Party with Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is going to face off with former President John Dramani Mahama and a host of other political parties for that 2024 crucial election. Ghana is at a crucial place. The economy has not been in good shape over the past few years. The Vice President concedes that and says that he has been supporting the president to be able to deliver on the mandate Ghanaian gave them to be able to put the economy back on track. He also said one thing that is instructive. He said he is his own man, and if he's elected as president of the republic, he will guide and lead this country with his own ideas. And so this function has come to a close. The New Patriotic Party formally now announcing and acclaiming Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as winner of the 2023 NPP primaries, winning 61% of the election, with candidates upon coming close with just a little over 30%. It's been an election of a showdown, and the New Patriotic Party say they have come out stronger. We expect that Ghanaians and the New Patriotic Party supporters across the country will now rally with Dr. Bawumia to win 2024. It is going to be an arduous task. Like I told you somewhere in this report, the New Patriotic Party is trying to do something that has never been done. No political party has won 3 successive elections since 1992. The closest any of them have come has been to win 2. The NEC winning from 92 to 2000, NPP taking over to 2008, and the NPP now coming in. It is the newly elected flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party now, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who is now going to lead the New Patriotic Party into battle in 2024. He says he's ready. He read a speech that was about 35 minutes long, really capturing where he has come from and what he believes he's going to do, really laying the blueprint of what he is coming to do as leader of the New Patriotic Party. So Evans and team, as you take over and as we wrap up our coverage here on your election headquarters on Joy News, on Joy FM, and all our platforms, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is the New Patriotic Party flag bearer, and big team, congratulations to all our team who were on ground, Fruits, Yusuf, and everybody who has been working tirelessly, standing on their feet since morning to bring to you this unparalleled coverage across the country. The New Patriotic Party has a new flag bearer. The New Patriotic Party has a new leader in the person of Alhaji Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
It is indicative of something. And the word that he uses, consistency.